Hey, we're live. Playing in traffic. Lewis Lee, Ray Guarino from Motormouth Radio. Lewis is having some internet problems, so he's switching his system up. He's going to try and come in on his cell phone, and we'll see if we can get him there. And I don't even know. I've been so busy. I don't even know if he put up a topic for tonight's show of what we were going to plan to talk about, which doesn't really mean anything anyway, because we talk about anything that happens to come up. I did have a couple things to talk about tonight, too. Let's see if we can get Lewis back. There he is. So, Lewis, is that your phone or you're still on your internet? Or are we looking at a facsimile of Lewis?
No, it's still a computer.
It is still a computer. Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Well, as this show
type in my name. Hold on 1 second.
Well, we're live. We're already live, so we're just waiting for you. But we're going to talk about some hydraulic stuff this week. I gotta learn a few procedures. Oh. Now I got two of you.
Oh, wait a minute.
I got two of you, so if I add the second one, I don't know if we're going to add. We'll have two of you up there.
Wait a minute. Oh, wow.
You want me to try that? Let's try this. We'll switch it over. Okay. I removed your internet from the stream and added your phone. Now your video is good.
Yeah, man. I was struggling over here. I don't know what's going on.
All right, we got you now.
Hi, everybody. So tonight,
do the second open of the show.
Yeah. So tonight, I wanted to invite anybody that's on Facebook or YouTube to subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel. And if you'd like to come in and talk to us tonight about anything you want to talk about, cars or anything automotive, you're welcome. We're going to try to grab some people off of YouTube and bring them in, if you want to talk about stuff.
And if you know anything about hydraulic lines and pistons on flatbeds and tow trucks, come in, because I got to work on one and I got a couple questions I got to ask somebody. So
you lose me again?
Who?
So did you lose me?
Nope, you're there. I got you.
Okay.
Actually, Lewis, you may know this. You got a lot of truck experience. On the flatbed, there's a pistons that raise and lower the bed. Mm-hmm. And they told me that there was a line that had to be changed. And I guess they took one of the pistons off and the ear broke. So they were going to weld it. And then they decided, no, we'll just buy a new piston. So they want me to change it. But there's got to be a procedure for taking the system down and then energizing it again.
Yeah, when you take it down, it's hydraulic, right?
Yes.
Electric over hydraulic?
Yeah.
So I would block off, I wouldn't drain the whole system out, you know what I mean? Because it'd be a heck to bleed. So if you can block off that one line going to that piston and then switch it out, you know what I mean? Like maybe crimp it or something.
Well, I think they want the hose changed too. So there's going to be a block and the hose will go to the piston. So I'm hoping the hose was already bad, because then whatever hydraulic fluid was in that leg of the line would be gone.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think it's a real high pressure system. So you might be okay.
Might. I like the key word being might.
It'll probably do stuff. I haven't played around with that in a long time.
Yeah. And then to refill it and you want to bleed it, you want to get air out of it. So are they self-bleeding? Can you just work the piston and
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. That'll be good. That'll be nice.
Wait a minute. Man, my computer's going crazy and my phone's going crazy. Hold on.
Wow.
Like I'm getting notifications from yesterday.
Wow.
Let me turn the computer off completely. That'll solve that problem, won't it? Okay. Yeah, you should be all right. Just taking the hose off and changing the piston. I wouldn't weld that. I wouldn't weld the ear on that because it's moving a lot of weight.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't weld it.
No,
And I don't think,
and that's what I was glad to hear. They said we were going to weld it, decided not to, and bought a new piston. So I was glad to hear that.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a flatbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That thing moves. You know, a lot of pressure on it.
This is what they give me to do when I fixed all the other stuff they have. You know. Now fixed.
Yeah,
I had to fix the tow truck the other day.
You're the guy.
Yeah, and the coolest thing was with the tow truck, I said we can make this thing lift itself, can't we? And we put a couple of spare rims on the ground and put the boom on it and lifted the back of the truck right off the ground. I'm like,
yeah, I seen you posted that somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, it was on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, when I seen it, I started laughing because I've done that a lot of times.
Yeah,
lifted the truck up. Yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Like, make it lift itself.
Yep.
Because I've seen it with heavy equipment. Guys will use like a plow or a bucket, and they'll actually lift the piece of equipment off. I said, well, why can't it work with a tow truck?
Yeah,
it can.
Sure can. It's hydraulic.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep. So I can't on my phone. I can't see YouTube or anything. I'm like in the dark.
Oh wow. Wow.
You see anybody in the chat from YouTube?
You know, I typically don't fire up YouTube, but let me do it on another screen. And now I got to find the channel here.
On my phone, I'm just a peon. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I don't even know if anybody else is on.
Let's see. Subscriptions. That must be a sign in.
Let me turn my computer back on. Maybe I can get something going here.
Thank you.
So, how was John's what do you call it?
Wake.
His wake.
It was a wake, so it sucked.
Yeah, right.
You know, yeah,
right.
It was. His wife was really holding up very, very well, which was kind of surprising, given the that didn't work. But she was holding up very well, and I got to meet his sister, and yeah, it was just one of those sucky things. It was there's no way around that.
Now, is his wife from New York as well?
I think originally, yes. And I was, I did talk with her. I didn't get to ask her. I mean, I didn't think it was the time to ask her, hey, you going to stay in Florida? I don't know if she'll think about coming back. I know she's got a job down there and now her, the daughter's down there. So she does have family down there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's like, you always got to be cognizant of like, okay, what do you ask and what do you not ask?
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
We just kind of kept it to small talk, which I think was good enough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm logging in on YouTube now to see if there's anything popping. So I think I'm going a different route on lifestyle, not lifestyle, but things.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, my Cadillac. I don't know if I'm ever going to have time to work on it because I got so many projects. And it's going to be one of those toys that I just play around with. So I think I'm going to sell it.
Okay.
I think I'm going to sell my pickup truck and buy a El Camino.
Oh, okay.
And put my LS in that and, do the drivetrain and get it running smooth and throw my bike in the back of it. Pull it behind the bus. You
were looking at like an 80-something El Camino?
I wouldn't mind the 80s. I like the 80s style. But Arco has a couple down at his place. He has some 69, 68s.
Right.
70s, I think. So he's gonna he has his car show this week. So if anybody's in Big Falls, Minnesota, or anywhere close to it, go over and check out Arco's car show this weekend, Saturday.
Now he does a really big show, right?
Yeah, I guess it's a really big show. I was trying to go, man, but things didn't work out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's this Saturday. So go check him out. They got a big burnout contest. So it should be good.
Okay.
Every year it's getting bigger.
Nice.
So when he gets done with the car show, then he's gonna check out some stuff for me. So I might be taking a run to Minnesota.
Wow, that's a run.
Yeah, it's 15 hours. I think he said he drove when he came here.
Yeah.
But hey,
well, that's I tell you, that's impressive when a guy does that. You know, when someone will just take their fleet and just reshuffle the deck. I've always been kind of in awe of that because I never do that. I keep everything ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, in my life, I've always been broke, so I had to sell something to get something else.
Right.
Now I'm in the position now I don't have to do that, but I don't have the room now, and I don't have the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? When I didn't have the money, I had time. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at there.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's better to just regroup and put all the efforts into one project instead of having it, have yourself spread thin.
Yep.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, because I got a truck payment, and you know what I mean. All the time I use it is when I need to haul something, so I can do that in El Camino.
Right. Yeah, maybe not to the same degree, the same payload, but it all depends what you're moving.
Yeah, I'm not carrying nothing heavy.
Now, you want to put Peaches in the El Camino?
Do what?
You want to put Peaches in the El Camino?
Yeah.
She's a big girl.
Yeah. So I'm like we were talking that one week. I might have to cut into the cab, make a wheel chuck, put it inside the cab.
They have to do a little suspension work too.
Yeah.
Because what does she weigh? About 700 pounds?
I want to say when it was fully dressed with all the stuff on it, I think it was 11.
11. Wow.
Yeah, but I stripped a lot of it off.
Okay.
I took a lot of stuff off that bike.
So you could still easily be 7.
Yeah. That wiring harness by itself was
I know
probably 100.
Wire gets heavy. It really does.
Yeah.
Wow. So you got to figure out. Yeah, you got to figure out lifting it. I mean, you need obviously the ramp, and you got the tailgate, which isn't a structural component. Yeah, the ramp is going to be interesting. Of course, we talked about. I learned a long time ago, like to load a bike, put the car or the truck in the street, so you have your driveway coming down, and then you're lower. You have a smaller approach angle with your ramp.
Yeah.
You're going up a steep ramp.
Yeah. And I got a nice hill here for that too to load it.
Well, but then wherever you're going, to unload, you gotta do the same thing. But what we used to do too is keep blocks of wood around, and get the bike up on the ramp, and then as it's going up, you have a couple guys that even lift the back of the ramp and put some wood under the end of the ramp. Because a lot of times the bike, as it crests the top, my Harley did this because it was so low, the bottom of the bike will get hung up on the top of the ramp.
Yep.
So I had to lift the back of the ramp to, again, change the angle and make it straighter. And then it was beautiful.
I might have to fabricate some kind of thing, a thingamajiggy.
Did you see the Phantom Works where Dan Short, they did it might have been an old milk truck, and they built a hydraulic. It might have been an electrical hydraulic ramp. They put the bike into the milk truck through the back, and they just brought it up on the ramp, secured it, and then I guess it was probably like a winch, more or less. It would just bring the thing right up.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different things. One year I was coming back from Seaman, I met a guy on the plane. He made a trailer that that lowers down. He's from Erie, I think Erie, Pennsylvania, or Ashtabula, Ohio, somewhere up in that area.
Yeah.
And I tried to get him on the show, but I think his business exploded after SEMA.
Really?
Because on the plane ride back, he was saying that he met a lot of people and he thinks it's going to work out because he had just made it. This is probably maybe it was when Keith went with me. It was probably 3 years ago.
Right.
And this guy and I think that company blew up.
Okay.
So but it's a trailer that hydraulics down real low on the ground.
That's
cool.
cool.
Load real easy.
Yeah, that's real nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, then I met a guy over I think me and Keith were at a motorcycle thing in Cleveland, and they had a trailer there that flips up, and it only has one little wheel that touches the ground. And then when you want to put it down and use it as a trailer, it has the big wheels goes down. It's pretty slick.
You got to think of something for the bus too.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna put a big heavy winch, or not winch, big heavy trailer hitch on it.
Right.
Yeah. Now I'll set the car up where I can flat tow it.
Did you get that? Yeah, that's a good idea. Did you get that all that rear metal work squared away on the bus?
Yeah. I ran or my helmet stopped working, my welding helmet.
Really?
So I ordered some new batteries. I couldn't find no batteries nowhere.
Really?
So I just got the batteries in today. So I got to finish welding up the inside part, and it's ready to go. Then I can put the subfloor in and the insulation.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I was holding off on because I wanted to fix that first.
Nice.
So I'll be ready to go.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Bill just texted me and said he's in the backstage in the gym. So you can let anybody in if anybody's out there.
Bill. Let's see Bill. I don't know where he is. Where am he? He's Yep, he's there.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, but he's not in the he's got a
Oh, is he in
maybe send him a link?
Yeah, I did. Is he in YouTube?
Maybe. Let's see.
I'll send him a link in Messenger.
Right.
Bill, go to Messenger and come in that way. Here's Keith. Somebody just sent me $2. Thanks, whoever sent me $2. I can't see who it is. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do that with the El Camino, and I'll just do the whole drivetrain. You know what I mean? Just make it all new.
How new? What are your thoughts?
A-arms, the full boat. Just
okay.
Brakes, just do everything. I won't have no payment. You know what I mean? So I could put the money in it to make it a everyday really roller. You know what I mean?
And I would imagine because of connections being what they are, you're going to go with an LS.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. LS with the E84 or is it 80? What is it? E80.
4L80. There's a 4L80E and a 4L. Yeah, that's the electronic transmission. Yeah, the automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
Or
good.
maybe I'll put a stick in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll flat tow it. That'd be nice.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look into it a little bit. Talk to a couple of the folks.
Yeah.
Do the suspension and do the shocks and everything. Just do everything. Brakes. Make it a man car.
You'll be building that car kind of just like I built mine. It's kind of like the same floor plan, and it works well. You'll corner flat. You'll ride okay. Won't be cushy. It won't be that old cushy GM float down the road ride. It's gonna be positive.
Yeah.
But that's really probably what you want anyway.
Yeah, I wanted to be a driver.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's my thoughts. I don't know if I'm thinking right, but that's where I think
Oh,
I'm going.
I think you're right on. You're 100% on track with that. I just spoke with a guy last night from Holly. I had him on the show last year. I'm going to get him on here. He said he's interested. I sent him a link to check out the show, and I said, "Let me know, what's good for you." He's down by in the Atlanta area, and he wrote a book about G bodies. I know we did a show. I did it on the radio, and I know we did it here. We were talking about the G body, and I held up his book.
Mhm.
And now he's writing another book about putting a Hemi, the late model Hemi, into other cars. I said, well, you got to meet Justin, because this guy up at American Gas or Hot Rod, I said, they put one in a PT Cruiser. He was like, oh my God, really? that's crazy. But he's also a master tech for Holly. So I got him working on the sniper system with me. I said, man, that's going to be great. So I gave him a list of what I need. And we're going to source out the parts and the prices. And he should be helping out. And like I said, we'll get him on here. And he's just a wealth of information. The guy knows old school, new school, a little bit of everything.
That's nice.
Yeah. And,
yeah. I'd love to have him on.
And I forgot that I knew him. I said, I thought I knew somebody who was working there. And then I forgot how I figured it out. But I was like, oh, yeah. Bill Hines, right. We had Joe Hines. I said we had him on the show. So
that name sounds familiar. I wonder if I met him at SEMA or somewhere. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I'll show you his book.
Let's see what chat was. Chat. Mm-hmm.
We did. I don't know when we had him on here. This is the book that he wrote.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I can't see it. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Right? The G
I
body.
think I got that book.
And I know we were really, a lot of us were really getting in depth with him because, so he wrote that. Now he's right. Like I said, I don't know how I put it together, but I said, I saw that, I guess I looked through my phone and saw that I had him at Holly. So when I sent him an email, I said, I want to have him, we're going to talk about his new book when it comes out. And I said, are you still at Holly? Because lately I've been contacting people from where they work. And like, oh yeah, I don't work there anymore. I've been gone for a year or two. A lot of people are changing jobs. So I was happy to hear that he is still at Holly. And now he actually rose up the ranks. He's like, he doesn't deal with the customers on the tech line anymore. He deals with the other technicians. If they can't help a customer, they call him. So he says, I kind of miss talking to the people because that's part of the fun of the job. He said, but, now I do more. It's very pointed, very, it's a lot faster. You don't have to decipher what people want because these guys are all tech guys. And you froze. So we're just looking at the frozen Lewis. So we will, we'll be, I thought he was going to get back to me today and he didn't. So we're going to keep in touch with Joe and we'll have him back on after we find out how to get Lewis back on. What a night. Yeah. But, let's see. There he is again.
Man, I don't know what's going on, man. I got some gremlins running around.
Yeah. Wow. But yeah. And and there's the other problem too. Now, like if tonight, this always happens to me. If this was a night where you had a guest on, you want to put your best foot forward, and now, you got all sorts of internet problems. It's like, bad night for that.
Yeah.
Is
anybody? Hey, Bill. How's it going?
Hey guys, good. How are you?
Hi, Bill.
Good.
Good to see you.
Just telling Ray that we were going to try to sneak out to Minnesota, but things didn't work out for us.
Yeah, it didn't work out, unfortunately. We can surprise him another time, though.
Yeah, we'll get out there.
Yeah, for sure. I
like
talked to him a lot today.
It sounds like he's got his hands full out there anyway with that show. Like the whole town shuts down, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he owns the whole town. So.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's been really, really busy. And you guys know his old body shop, or the body shop that he had burned down, right? Not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's also been trying to get that cleaned up, and he's been working on that a lot. So
Yeah,
it's been busy for him.
that's great. I mean, I'm glad I talked to him yesterday, and he's busy, and that's a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He could not be busy.
Yeah,
But
he's having fun.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I was listening to you guys. I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about Facebook, and I finally found the right message.
Oh,
I think I picked the one from last week.
Whatever works.
That happens to us too. We get on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, technology is tricky sometimes, but it's fun.
Yep, it is. The older we get, the trickier it gets.
Sometimes, yeah. Now, so talking with this guy at cruise night the other night, and of all things, we're surrounded by these beautiful cars, and he's talking about interest-free municipal bonds. And the guy knows his stuff because he's doing it on his own. He's retired, and he had me and my friend's attention 100%, even though he was over our heads. And I would walk away to talk to somebody else about something, come back, they're still talking about bonds. A couple times that happened. But at one point, he mentioned a few names that I wanted to write down. I want to remember, I should say. I said to him, hold on. I went over to my car and I got my pad. I came back with my pad and pen. And I said, okay, now I have my memory. So let's say that again. And I wrote it down. And I said, now I'll remember it.
That's it, man. I do a lot of that.
Otherwise, it's gone. Now, the problem is I have stacks of paper everywhere with little notes on it. I'm like, wow, what was that one from? Where is this from? So you got to be explicit, too, or else,
You mean this kind of stuff?
Yeah, exactly that kind of stuff. I got it all over the place.
Yep.
Yep.
Hey, I heard you talking about your hydraulic system on the flatbed.
Yeah.
So I think if you can stop, if the reservoir and everything is full, okay, and you can, I don't know if there's like a hydro split coupling or something there where you can close that valve, you should be able to remove that hose, put the new hose back on, fill it, and then reattach it.
So you can be, the valve lets you isolate that leg of the system.
Yes,
Nice.
right.
And then what about bleeding? Is there any bleed procedure?
Yeah, well,
it
would be best to bleed it if you can, find the highest point of the system, right? And there should be some kind of a bleed screw,
okay.
and then bleed it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's new territory for me. But like I said, when they run out of other stuff for me to do, because I've done it all, they say, here, now do this. Like,
yep.
Okay. All right.
That's what happens when you're good.
Well,
then you even get better.
And I hate it because the guy talks me up to everybody. Yeah, this is Ray. He can fix anything. I'm like, don't say that. I said, I can't fix it. I said, I don't want to fix everything. Give me some easy stuff. How come I don't get easy stuff? But that'll be once you learn how to do that, then it becomes easy stuff. So.
Right. Yeah, you got to do it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The worst thing.
Yeah. At this age, I'm actually happy and proud to say I'm still learning, and I'll keep doing it until I can't anymore.
Me too. Me too.
You have to.
Yep. I'm restoring that lathe right now, and it's a huge lathe, beautiful too. So Arco was showing me one this morning that got burned in the fire, but it still looks like it didn't get warped too much or anything. You know what I mean? It was in a hot fire.
Yeah.
So we might collaborate on that lathe and kind of do some of the components together. The lathe happened to be built about 40 miles from my house.
Oh, nice.
Now it's old. It's an antique, but the company may still be there. I don't know.
Was that in South Bend?
It's in Manchester, Michigan.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And I'm just north of Ann Arbor.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lathe.
Since I started working on this, I've been doing a lot more work, and I'm trying to get into it. I'm starting to like it. So I can see myself rolling in with a lathe, playing around.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to get my Camaro out of my garage and make some room for that lathe to work on it.
Now, what's the procedure? I mean, I worked on a lathe. I worked on a machine shop. I never rebuilt one. So what's the procedure once you reassemble? How do you dial it all in to get your, your
All the tolerances and
Yeah.
everything, all the specs. Yeah. I'm going to be learning. I'm going to apply a lot of the things that I do with the car engines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to be somewhat simple or similar. And so I've never torn one apart either. I've only ran one.
Right.
But I'm getting close to retirement, and I want to have my shop set up right. And I got my mill out there. That's all in good shape and running. Get this lathe put together and spend my retirement in the garage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I've been spending my retirement so far at someone else's shop.
Yeah.
But it's okay. They pay me.
Yep. Same here. I retired 15 years ago.
Did
After
you?
putting in 30 years, then I went to work again and been there 15 now.
Oh, nice.
Listen, when I retire, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm throwing away all my clothes except for my flip flops, my flowered T-shirts, and my hat.
Yeah, there you go, man.
I went with a good friend today. We had to go to New Jersey to pick up parts for a station wagon that had been sent to his friend in San Diego across the country. But he goes, "You want to go for a ride?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I got nothing to do." And I got in his truck. I said, I did 3 things today I haven't done in a while. First, I put on pants. He's like, whoa. I'm like, long pants and shoes. I said, and then I actually checked traffic to see, because that hasn't been an issue. I hadn't had to worry about traffic. And I had to bring a set of work keys because we had to get in and get some stuff. I said, it's kind of weird, being back in that. It's nice getting up and just, like Lewis, like I said, free spirit. You want to put on a flowered shirt? Yeah. You want no shirt? Yeah, no shirt. Whatever the hell you want.
I didn't do that. I won't scare people.
Come on.
Maybe I'll leave a button down a little bit.
Yeah.
My wife bought me a flowered shirt a couple weeks ago. We went to a luau party.
Right.
So I was talking to Connington. I was like, my wife said I look like a black boy. So he was like, oh yeah, you're a little boy now. I was like, I'll take that compliment.
Yeah.
A little boy.
How's your wife doing, Lewis?
She's doing good.
Good.
Yep.
Good deal.
Yeah, we're just trying to plug away, man, so I can get to the retirement day. You know what I mean? Just keep working on the bus.
Are you looking at any hard dates yet?
Probably September 2004.
Okay.
Or
Well, that's
24.
good. That
wait.
gives you a year to get everything in line.
That's that right?
Oh, 4, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
2 years.
2024.
That's
Right,
not
yeah.
bad. 2 years. That goes by like that these days.
Oh, yeah.
And let's quick. Scott said let him in. Is anybody in the what do
Hey,
you
what's
call it?
happening?
There he is.
Whoop, there we are.
Hey Scott.
How's it going?
Good. What's happening?
Not a lot. Finally getting cooler weather this week. Last week was horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working in it every day. I know how horrendous it was.
Yep.
Ugh.
Thank God our shop,
Hey, I
the
don't know-
building's built into a hill. What was that?
I don't know if you heard, but we're taking donations for my retirement plan. We're $5. Anything to help.
I could use some too.
Me too.
Yeah, right.
You all could.
Well, hey, I was going to say, we're lucky our building at work is built into a hill, so it's on the ground. We shut the garage doors and put the fans on, and actually it's comfortable, even though it was like 15 degrees cooler in the shop.
That's
Oh,
nice.
that's nice.
I put
Yeah,
a
what do
big
you
ass fan on it. It just blows around the hot air and makes a lot of noise. But it still
Yeah.
feels good.
Have you seen
So, Lewis,
those fans?
I don't mean that it's a big ass fan. That's actually a brand name. This
That's
is
a brand
floor
name,
fan.
yeah.
It's just a big
Yeah.
floor fan that makes a ton of noise.
Listen, those fans move some air, man.
Oh, I know.
At SEMA, you can be 40, 50 yards away and feel them fans.
Mhm.
Actually, what
Yep.
was real nice the other day was being under the tow truck, because out in on the driveway, on the yard under the truck, it was shady and it was cool, and there was a little breeze coming down around the ground. I'm like, this is the nicest place to be right now, is under the tow
Yeah.
truck. You know, that was cool.
Lewis, you should get yourself a 59 El Camino.
59
Yeah, they're-
with the
they're
wings.
I
easy
think
to
it's a
find.
longer bed.
Yeah, but longer money too.
Well, it's only money.
Good luck finding one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you
Write
do
a
buy
check.
like
Yeah,
an
that's
80,
another thing.
81, you buy one of those 80s. I mean, they're cheaper. You know, you could do it to extend the bed, make it longer. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd only need probably a foot, maybe
Make it a
foot and a
dually.
half.
I mean, dual axles, not
Yeah,
a
that'll give
dually.
you that'll hold the weight.
My friend took a 58
Or
pickup truck and made it a dually.
or I could tub it out. Put some
Mhm.
monsters under there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'll hold my weight.
And if you do
The
a certain
Peach is a big
trailer
girl.
hitch, maybe you can, off a trailer hitch, you could have something that comes up along the bottom of the tailgate when it closes to keep the weight and attach a ramp through that. I don't know. I'm throwing an idea.
I really like the 72s.
Yeah.
Lewis is
What'd you
locked
say,
up
Bill?
there.
I was saying I really like the 72 El Caminos. I'm not sure what is the bed length on those. Is that got like a 6.5 foot bed, or what do they have in the 72s?
I don't
Probably
know.
close to that.
I think Justin looked it up last week. What did
Yeah.
he say? I forget what he said.
I don't remember.
I think I was short though, 'cause, Peaches, I forget what she was. She was too long, wherever she was.
Right.
Well, not if you leave your tailgate open.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
in some states
but I'm
too,
thinking
it's the law
if I get
for towing with a tailgate open.
yeah. But
I'll
I,
look it up.
if I get an 80s, I'll cut the cab, build a wheel chuck in there like that. Run it up in
Yeah.
the hole.
That'll keep it from
My wife
twisting.
hates El Camino. Yeah, my wife hates El Camino, and I've teased her our whole marriage that I was going to get her one. And so the other day I was talking to her. I was like, "Hey, I think I'm going to get an El Camino and put the bike in it and pull it behind the truck in the bus." And she was like, "Oh, that's a good idea."
She better run out and get that thing right away.
So she obviously forgot that she hates El Caminos. Why would she not like
Hey,
an El
listen.
Camino? What is it that turns her off?
The car and the truck. But
That's the beauty.
every
of it.
once in a while, we'll see a real nice. I was like, yeah, because it got 150 stuff on it.
Are you making any of that out, or is it
She
just
likes
me?
those.
No,
Lewis, we can't hear
Can
you.
you hear me now?
You're breaking up.
pings and pops and poings
All right.
and something about SEMA.
Hold on. Let me try to move a little bit.
Yeah, you get better
That better?
service out in your patio.
Yeah, that's where I'm heading.
Watch out for the mosquitoes.
Hope I don't get mugged out here.
Yeah,
If I get mugged, tell the police what happened.
right.
Get mugged by the bugs.
Yeah. All right, hold on.
Yeah, I just looked up the bed length on the El Camino. The 72 is just over 6 feet, they say.
Now
What does
that's
that mean?
bad. So so the tailgate actually closes angled in,
Yeah.
which gives you a little less room
Right.
at the top.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, they did that. That's right.
Yeah.
Ray, I was looking up some videos. There was one showing on the hydraulic bleeding. Some of them have a bleeder screw type thing.
That'd be good. Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll work its way out on its own like a plow, but if you can break one loose, it'll help kind of relieve, and then just put a bucket
Yeah.
under it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when I rebuilt the plow. I rebuilt all the hydraulics on that. I'm trying to remember how I bled that.
I just went back and forth on mine.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, I think it was very easy. Yeah, it was like power steering.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It'll work its way out.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I always try to put a bleed point as high as I can. Like, let's say if you have a hose that's got a arc to it, and the high point is right in the middle of that arc. Sometimes I'll put like a hydraulic fitting there that you can bleed at.
Right.
Just like
Yeah,
trying to
that's a
bleed
great
the
idea.
antifreeze.
That is a very good idea. That's the thing. I try and do that too. When I build something, I try and think of the serviceability down the road.
Yeah.
Like what's going to make this easy to work on later, and you can build it in at the start.
Maybe you should go work for one of the OEMs as an engineer because they don't have any people to think about that.
Yeah, I know. Obviously not. Well, it's like I had to do a serpentine belt on my wife's Cruise. You figure out it's easy. It's a 4-liter, it's a 4-cylinder Ecotec engine. Well, I've done Serp belts in 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes, hour and a half. I had to lift the car, support the car. You got to then jack the motor up to relieve the top motor mount, then drop the motor because the belt comes out between the two halves of the motor mount. You got to get the right wheel and fender liner out to get in there. Literally, it was an hour and a half.
Yeah, and the actual belt took 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it's
right.
all the work to get to it.
It was. Of course, it's always when it's your own car. I was like, oh man. And that was after a day getting beat up in a 95-degree heat at the shop working on the stupid Mustang that was in there. So, yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? You know what? I'm here to do it. So I got to thank God that I have that ability. So, that's really the bottom line. I'm really not. I'm just complaining about the engineering, not having to do it.
Right. I know. I see it every day. I'm in these automotive plants, and it's you say, well, why was that? Well, they want to do everything as a module.
Right.
So it's just you pull the engine, you pull everything out. It's easier than half the time than taking up the wheel liner and taking this out and undoing the motor mount and all that stuff. They want you to take it to the service, the dealer.
It was funny. I was just talking with this fellow from Holly. He's going to source out the parts I need to put these snipers on my car. And I was talking to him about their distributor. And by the way, Holly is buying everybody. They bought some big companies recently. And he said, yeah, most guys just go with the basic distributor. But I said, listen, I'm looking at this as a systems approach. I said, so I want to use your distributor, your Hyperspark distributor and coil that mates with and talks to your fuel injection unit. It'll vary the timing. Everything will work together. It'll be all handshake. I said, that's how I want to do it. I said, I'm not screwing around. He says, wow, I wish more people would do that. And I said, I can't see why they wouldn't in this. It
makes the most sense. That's what I want to do on my T-bucket. I want to go with the Holly system.
Yeah.
And
So I was telling those four, hopefully I'm going to get him on this show. I'll get him on the radio show and we'll get him on here too. Cause he's the guy that the other techs come to when they have trouble. So he's like super tech.
He's the man.
He knows his stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was a GM mechanic. He was worked in a dealership. He owned his own shop and he's done a lot of stuff. He's got cred.
What's his name?
Joe Hines. This was, you might remember, Scott, we did this show, I don't know how long ago, but this was the book that
That's pretty cool. Put that in the mail, send it to me. I'll take it.
Yeah, this is an autographed copy. You can't have it. Yeah, he wrote this for CarTech a couple of years ago. Let's see. I got some notes. Joe Hines, usually I put a date on here, and I didn't this time. Right, the gremlin-shaped object. He was building a gremlin, I think, with a big block Chevy in it. No. Oh, no, that's his other book. I'm sorry. Yeah. Right. Yeah, he's into a lot of hot rod stuff. A lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I just did this. Well, I'm on episode 3. It's published now on advanced manufacturing in the auto industry, and it shows how the bodies are assembled now
Oh, okay.
and the type of fasteners they use. Oh, we talked about the seatbelt last week. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't gotten that far to tearing that apart yet, but I'll get that up there as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's so different, you know.
Yeah.
Lewis, you get better
Lot of glue.
reception?
Yeah, I think so.
No, he's still cutting out.
Does that sound better?
No, he's still cutting out. You better pay your cable bill, your internet bill.
Trying to use the neighbors.
Try to pull internet off one of your neighbors instead of yours.
Back in the olden days, it could.
I'm gonna put some locks on them now. You can't without a password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wow. So Joe, you go to
Facebook.
the manufacturing plants, right? It's,
Yeah.
The big ones. Wow, that's got to be that's got to be interesting.
It is interesting. Most of them are Ford plants, but I do get sucked into GM and Chrysler, Stellantis, whatever you want to call them today,
Right.
on occasion. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm working on the new joining techniques with the new materials, and it's interesting. I mean, they're going with these ultra high strength steels that are also ultra lightweight, and you have to use things like lasers to join them together because you can't weld it. You can weld some of it, but they put in like 2 or 3 times the number of welds they need because you can't really depend on the weld with this extremely high strength stuff.
Right.
And they're doing a lot of mixed materials like steel and aluminum, or these ultra high strength steels with high strength aluminum and all this stuff. And it takes all kinds of different joining techniques to assemble them, like the F-150.
Yeah.
That doesn't have any welds in the body. It's got 2 like 1-inch welds in the body. Everything else is mechanical.
Okay. I remember when BMW went to the aluminum frames, and originally I went to some of the collision repair seminars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not a body man. I went with my friends who, that do own the shops. They took me with them, and I remember in the beginning their technique was to rivet, cold rivet,
Yeah.
repair, and then later on, a few years later, they switched it to welding.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting to see that transition.
Yep. They're putting they're using rivets now to assemble almost the entire body structure.
Really.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a different style of rivet. It's called a self-pierce rivet.
Right.
So you've got this machine that comes in. It's a press unit that feeds and presses this rivet in, and the rivet flares out into the second or third sheet of material, and it holds it like a rock. I mean, it's really strong.
Yeah. What's the tolerance, the fit tolerance on the rivet to the hole? Do you have any idea?
Well, there's no hole because that's why they went with what's called the self-pierce. Yeah.
I did say that. I'm sorry.
They do have some of those rivets still that they use, mostly in frame though. And body is mostly, even with the nuts and the studs, they're self-pierce, so they don't have to. Which makes it cheaper for dies. They don't have as many dies with pierces and all that to maintain. It does a lot of things that really.
So now, so it's really just the pressure that pierces, or do they use a heat component as well?
Nope, just the pressure. So these presses have about it takes probably 4 to 5, 6 tons, depending on how big to press the material together or to pierce it with a stud or a nut or a rivet. So they look just like weld guns too.
Yeah.
You know how you see on TV the sparks flying and all that they do?
Yeah.
Looks the same as those. Not a spark, not a fume, nothing.
So what's a typical application? Which panels get riveted like that?
The panels that get riveted like that, all of the structure. Okay, so either riveted or clinch. A clinch is it's put in a similar way, but there's no fastener, there's no rivet. It's just pressing the 2 pieces of material together, and it forms a dovetail between the 2 sheets.
I remember I remember back in the day, back in the 60s, the late 60s, my mom had a tool to crimp papers instead of a stapler.
Yeah, right.
With that, it made like a W crimp, and those things stayed together.
Exactly. It's just,
Yeah,
they
I
do
have
it with
somewhere. I have it around here somewhere. I don't know where.
it's really cool that they do that. But you know what? These things have about a mile of adhesive in every car. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that might be overstating it, but
No,
that adhesive bonds so strong.
So what's the correct repair if a car had collision damage to replicate those types of fasteners, either the rivet or that crimp?
A lot of times they'll put in a rivet or a rib nut.
Okay.
The rib nuts are really good, strong, but it's expensive to install. That's the biggest problem with it. It just depends on the area. Sometimes they'll have like a handheld clinch gun or a handheld gun to repair the rivets, and they just go in as long as they can reach, because some of these units they weigh 400 or 500 pounds.
Oh yeah.
So you have to have a balancer or something to hang it on if you're in the shop. And
right.
But like I was saying earlier, they just try to go with modules.
Yeah.
We got to take that whole thing off and just put a new one on.
Yeah.
$20,000. Yeah.
Much better.
Okay, I
It's
got my
about
laptop.
time.
Got my laptop out. So
It's about time.
Welcome to Playing in Traffic, Lewis.
yeah. Hi, my name is Louis Lee. Terry.
Hey, Terry.
What's up, gentlemen?
What's
How
up,
are you
brother?
tonight?
So I had to move. I had to move closer to the house because mosquitoes are gonna get me now.
Yeah.
A couple of them got me. Jeez. Scratch it.
So Terry, we are talking about fasteners and new technology that the companies are putting together cars with, and rivets are, I think, one of the strongest fasteners that you can use.
Yep.
Yeah.
In body
no doubt.
application. Yep.
But it's hard to hide them. They're not very, very. I mean, if you want that look, that's one thing. But it's a whole two pieces of sheet metal together.
See, they're doing it with the body structures, not on the like on the outside of the Class 1 surfaces, or they'll put them on flanges around the door openings, and then you have the weather seal around that, right? And so they do everything they can to hide them.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not going to be able to hide the rivet, they'll usually use a clinch, because the clinch is a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, I guess, pleasing to the eye.
Now I got a question for you. Have you guys seen that tool that puts in threads? It puts in like a stud.
Nut cert?
Is that what it's called?
A nut cert. It's like a giant rivet gun.
Yeah, those are pretty
have
slick.
like
And then you screw it. Then you have a nut that goes into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I might invest in one of those. That's pretty slick.
Yeah, that's called a rib nut. Those are really that's a good fastener.
This is it right here.
Yeah,
There you
I already
go.
had one.
yeah, we knew you had one.
That is it. Yeah, that's a good fastener.
Yeah, for
Yep.
what they are, they work really good.
And you take you screw of the correct size, and you just thread it in, and you got
Now put that in. What happens is, when you put that in, what happens is it goes through the metal, and then it kind of pulls itself up, and then it bubbles out, so it
You
won't
can
come
really-
out. There you go.
Yep.
It'll just look like a pop rivet. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
it
pretty
does.
slick.
Right, with threads, and it just pinches on both sides of the material.
And you can buy them American and metric threads.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, those are great. Like if you're doing an old car or something, like brake
Or
lines,
school
gas
bus.
lines, and a frame.
That's
Yeah.
how I mounted a lot of stuff under my hood and under the car. And I found, I have a handheld gun, but I know Chassis John had a bigger, a bigger.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah,
to
we
get
got a
one.
big
of
one
them.
at the shop.
Yeah, I want to get one of those.
Yeah, that's a good fastener.
Yeah, a bigger. It's not a small one. I got a bigger one.
Then again, the big one can only be used in certain places. The small one,
Right.
you need to have like you can't have one wrench. You got to have a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was watching something on YouTube, or no, it wasn't YouTube. It was Instagram, and a guy was putting rivets in, but it was probably a 3-inch rivet, and it was hot on one side,
Wow.
and he put the press on the one side, and then the other side was like a a cylinder coming through the hole. But then when he pressed it with the other side, it made it like the rivet on both sides. It looked
Yeah.
the same on both sides.
Formed it, yeah.
Yep.
It must have been like a ship or something that took real big rivets.
Yeah. You'd probably need heat to form that rivet.
Yeah, it was. They were
Yeah.
they were heated. You know, they were forged.
Yep.
It was pretty slick.
You know, the other one they're doing right now where they use, let's say, like the Ford F-150, for instance, it's got a lot of hydroform tubes for the structure, like the engine compartment, stuff like that. Well, hydroform tube, you can't get behind it with the press, right? So it's only one-sided axis. So they use what's called a flow drill screw. And so they take this flow drill screw, it comes in with a robot, you know, perpendicular to the surface, spins at about 30 or 40,000 RPMs, and it melts the material and flows right through it. They call it flow drill screwing.
That's
Wow.
cool. That's
Now that you said that, when I've been studying how to make water tanks, I was gonna make a water tank for my bus,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a heat gun that spins, and it heats up when you're putting like a hole in your tank with the threads.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it heats up and it heats up the plastic, and then you pull it off, and it
Oh,
forms
okay.
bonded.
Yep.
Yeah, it bonds. It's pretty slick.
Yep. Yep. It's almost like I don't know if it's the same thing, but friction stir welding type,
Yeah.
where they use like either something rotating or some kind of a friction device to bond the two materials.
Yeah, that's what this does. I don't know what something like that costs, but I probably wouldn't buy it because I'm only gonna make one or two tanks. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to find a place that has the equipment and they'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm researching now. I'm trying to do everything at a reasonable price. I don't want to go crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm impressed with that welding job that you're doing in your bus, man. See, that's what happens when you hang out with Arco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Listen, I told him the other day. I'm like, listen, bro, you got me all messed up because now you got me thinking I can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can do anything, put your mind to it.
Yeah, he really motivates you, man, and like I've never really been into the metal work, but I'm starting to get fun. You know what I mean?
That was fun working on the bus, wasn't
It's
it?
hard if you know how to do it.
Yeah, you know, I tell everybody, Bill, that you know you guys came here to help me work on this bus, man. I still can't put my head around it.
That was so much fun.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so sorry I missed out on that, man. I was so sad.
well. Hey, I'm gonna paint it so you can come help me sand it.
Yeah.
It ain't too late, bro. You can still.
We'll go to Lewis's.
It was almost
Black
like a
party at
monster ride.
Lewis's.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know I got a lot of friends in my area here, but I couldn't get nobody to come. I told my friends, come. You don't have to help. Just come. You know, hang out and see what we're doing. And you know, I got people coming from Idaho. You know what I mean? What the heck is that?
Yep.
I'm in the same boat, man. It's hard for me to get my boys to come to my house.
Yeah.
It's like pulling teeth, and they're like, what, 4 or 5 miles down the road. But, you know, I call Lewis Lee, he's there. I'm sure if I call Ray, get on over here. Ray will be up. You know, it's a shame. It's
Yeah.
It's an awesome community. I mean, this group of guys is just, car guys are a unique group.
Yeah, I agree.
And so many different backgrounds, you know, it's so much fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, you could be an engineer or you can be a teacher and still have love for the automobile, and then on the weekends go be that guy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Monday be back at work at the bank. Like
That's
Terry.
it. Between all of us, we form one really awesome guy. One really cool, smart guy in the back of all of you put us all together. But hey, that's what it takes.
I put the group up against anyone car knowledge. I put this group up against anyone.
Yeah.
I don't care who they are.
And there's groups like that all across the country, all over the place, you know.
Yep.
We're everywhere.
Yep.
And what's nice about this what's nice about this platform is there's people from all over the country. You know what I mean? Like they jump in and tell us something and leave. You know what I mean? Tell us, you know, we learn something. I learn something every week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. That's why we call it the University of YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and the other side of that is I was working with one of the younger guys from the other shop. He was down at shop where I was at doing a brake job he had never done. So I was helping him out because I had tools he didn't have and more insight and all. And it ends up I asked him, I'm 2 years older than his father, but he says, I could never do this with my dad. I'm like, well, why not? He goes, because he gets pissed off. He yells at me all the time. I'm like, it's because he's your father. I said, because you probably piss him off because you're doing something stupid.
Yeah.
And he raised you, so he knows you shouldn't be stupid. I said, you do shit around me, and I just think you're stupid. You just, that's just you. I'm not going to judge you for it. He says, yeah, but you take the time. I said, well, because I've learned my time is more valuable to teach somebody something and pass it forward.
Yeah.
Is to just do it myself or to just ignore you. I said, it's more important to me to spend the time and trying to show you something. If you get something out of it, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Right. That's why we need apprenticeships more, get back to that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Related trades and all that.
I agree.
It's the only way to keep manufacturing really growing and going strong,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a
I
little
agree.
uptick in trade stuff now. Colleges bringing some stuff back, and I don't know to what degree. I don't know how they're basing it. If it's manufacturing based or if it's, I don't know what their basis is, but I'm hoping it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some schools over here in Detroit or in Michigan, I should say. One of them's over on the west side of the state, Ferris State University, and they're really great with like all these things I was talking about earlier: welding, joining, all these different fabricating things that techniques and technologies. And we've been able to hire people out of those companies, and they are great. Lawrence Technological is also right in Detroit, and it's another really good technical university.
Nice.
But the high school programs and stuff, they got to get kids going in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Get the interest.
Yeah. Well, computers are the easy path because it's video games and then home computers. It's an easy transition for them.
Mhm.
Kind of like working on lawnmowers and mini bikes like that I was doing when I was 13. And
Yep.
it was easy to go into shop class and just say, hey, yeah, I've been doing this stuff for a while already.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
And then I went to a machine shop and said, hey, you know what? I had the ability to work in a machine shop. I could read the instruments. I understood the measurements, and not everybody can do that. So that's fine. There's a place for everybody. But the ability for me to do that was there. The ability was there. Now.
Yeah, I think I spent most of my waking hours with my dad out in the garage, building something.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned stuff, I mean, it was a blast. We just happened to, it worked out great for us. We were really blessed like that, but we got to pass it on, like you said.
Yeah. You got to have somebody pass it on too. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
I taught my 9-year-old granddaughter, she's 12 now, but when she was 9, I taught her how to arc weld. Taught her how to cut a section through it, taught her how to etch it, taught her how to make sure that you've got, good penetration. She helps me out there all the time.
Nice.
All the time.
That's cool.
Love having those kids out there.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I gotta take off.
All right, Scott.
All right,
So I'm
Scott,
out of here. Brian's in. Hey Brian, hello, and good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right, Scott.
Take care, everyone.
So look.
Good night.
Be good.
We'll let Brian. Where's Brian? At? See.
So
Yeah,
Terry,
my wife was
spindle-
just texting me saying, "Hey, you coming up here?"
Terry did lessons on spindles and on calipers now. I like it.
Yeah, man. Like I said, everything that I do, it's getting filmed.
Good.
But then I got a wise joker. I don't know. I gotta. I'm glad I'm a patient guy. Because everyone's lost. Like one guy said, what was exact? He says a 6 caliper doesn't stop better than a 4 caliper. I'm sorry, piston.
4 piston. Yeah.
I'm like, well, it depends on the caliper. 1, 2. I would imagine it probably does. I mean, that's what's for racing,
Actually, I can grab my brake handbook, which is a Bible. It's swept area of the rotor, which is really, really what determines stopping force.
Yeah, and also what happens is when you get the four piston, it tends to call wedge shape on the pad on the closest. I forgot exactly what it is, but it tends to make a wedge shape. So with the 6 piston, you got like more of a stopping pad because when you're going from a 6 to a 4, the rotor is going to be a lot bigger. So the bigger the rotor, the bigger the pad. The bigger
That's
the pad,
swept area I'm talking about.
yeah, the more space it has to bite. So I think, yeah, and plus it also cools quicker, a 6 piston, and
It's not working
you
as hard.
feel the road better. You feel the road better with a 6 piston, from what I can see, anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not working as hard.
So I could be wrong. I don't know, but I mean, on the street, the difference between a 4 and a 6, you're not going to notice it.
Yeah.
But if you're that guy that's autocrossing, hardcore autocrossing,
Right.
you know, that's when the 6 piston, you know, because they're putting them on the Hellcats out the factory, 6 piston. You know,
They do it for a reason.
Got to be a reason. Got to be a reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna say goodnight.
I think a large reason is because that's what people think they want, and that's what they like to see. You know, you got this big rotor. You don't want a small little caliper. You want a caliper, a quarter the size, a third of the size of that rotor.
Right.
So, but
okay, Bill, man, I appreciate you coming on.
All right, you guys. Good night.
Bill,
have a great week.
Right,
Hopefully,
Bill.
see you next week. Yep.
All right,
Bye-bye.
We're Brian taking a nap.
Yeah, I think he opened the screen and fell off the chair. So,
I just turned the camera on. He wanted Matco 2s. That's all it was. He's doing cheap advertisement.
Hey, anybody got a welder I can buy for like $50?
Yeah, I'm in the market for a new welder myself. So, Eastwood's been having some crazy sales this week. They're putting up tons and really good sales if you go there to pick up.
Oh yeah,
I can't.
Eastwood's got some really nice sales. Yeah.
Yes, they do. They do.
they got one here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think the main branch is in Cleveland.
Okay.
I thought the main branch was like in New Hampshire or something like that.
It might be, but the guys that I talked to for some marketing stuff were in Cleveland.
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Hemmings.
Yeah, I was surprised that they were there.
Yeah.
So I'm getting back in the game. COVID messed me up a little bit, but I've been talking to some companies and events, and I'm going to start booking some more stuff. So, I'm easing back in because I think people are ready to cut loose a little bit.
Are you going to SEMA this year?
Yep, I just got my plane ticket last night. Now, what we doing we going with Nelson to Circus, or what we doing?
I would imagine so.
I'm gonna give him a call because I'm gonna
Give
go.
him a call, yeah.
I'm gonna go Monday. I'll get there Monday night about 10:30, and I'm leaving Friday night.
Well, when does it open up?
It opens up for the media Monday, I think.
That's when I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there Monday, and I want to go straight there. And I'm not gonna go to Ignite. I'm not gonna go to Ignite. I'm just gonna, me and the boys will probably go out there that Monday and fly home Thursday.
Who's all going?
Nelson and my buddy Kenny.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, KB, you know him.
Yeah. Yes, I'm gonna go Monday and leave Friday.
Yeah. Because once I get to about the 4th day, I'm like, okay, I had enough. Feet are tired and everything like that.
Well,
you ready for some home cooking?
Yeah, my problem is when I leave early, I miss an important event. You know what I mean? Because I go to all the events that you don't go to at night. So,
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Hey, this year you're going, bro. We're kidnapping you.
We're going this year. We go this year, definitely.
But
Definitely.
you know what? It's not like going out partying. It's a networking thing, really.
A networking thing, yeah.
Yeah, when I went and met Shorty at the kicker party, and I met
I met a couple other people there, and it ended up being fruitful for everybody. You know what I mean? So it's really networking, and you're talking to people with their hair down. You know, at SEMA, they're either working or they're rushing to get to somewhere, or you know what I mean, or it's a lot of people, and it's just you can't talk. But at these events at night, man, you know, you can sit there and talk and do business a little bit, and you know.
We got an 18 kidnapped Ray out there.
Yeah, Ray, you got to come, man. Let's write the check.
It's on. Well, that's the problem. I don't have checks coming in right now, so
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Last night I went online, Travelocity, and the tickets were so cheap.
Really,
I wasn't going to buy. I was just seeing what the prices were because I was going to fly out to Arcos, and it was cheaper for me to fly to Vegas than to fly to Arcos.
no.
How much
fool.
were they?
I paid $179 out and $149 back.
Wow.
Yep, and that's on Delta and United.
That's wild.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I've never seen tickets that cheap.
Yeah, I want to probably get my ticket this week sometime like that, you know.
Yeah, I went on Travelocity. Travelocity, is that what you said? Yeah.
I think it's all the same. Travelocity, Expedia, all the
It's
same.
probably the same guy owns it.
Yeah, because I noticed the font is the same and everything like that. And I was just like, I had one up. I was like, these are the same.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. So I bought them. I was like, I got to buy it because I know one time I waited and I was like, oh, let's see the tickets go down. Man, they jumped up to like $1,000 round trip. And I was like, wow. And that's the year I drove. I called my camera guy. I was like, bro, I'm coming to get you in the morning. We're driving. And he's like, we're driving. I was like, be ready at 6 o'clock. Man, I pulled up, man. We bounced. Drove straight through 32 hours.
to Las Vegas?
Yep. 32 hours. Straight through. Q, we stayed with Q, right? And he was like, man, I can't believe you guys drove all the way. I was like, man, I told you I don't be playing.
That means you had to drive back.
Yeah. After the whole week of SEMA.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Drove straight back all the way through. You had to
Wow.
make a man out you, I'll tell you that.
I know you can't wait for the school bus to be ready.
Oh, man. Because that's my house. It'd be my house.
Your house. No,
You know, wherever I go, my whole house is there. You know? I've been buying.
How do you tie?
Huh?
How do you tie down your plates and stuff like that? Your cups and everything.
You put them in drawers that lock. You know what I mean? You lock everything up.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're not
you're
gonna
not
have like
gonna
a
look
cabinet.
Yeah, we'll have cabinets, but they'll have locking mechanisms on them to hold them shut while you're driving. But the thing is, it's just me and the wife and the cat. I only need 2 plates, 2 bowls, 2 spoons, 2. You know what I mean?
No, you need a pack of paper plates, some cups.
Yep.
You're done with it. You don't get no china in there.
I was just talking to my buddy who owns the shop. He's got a real motorhome, you know, a commercial one.
Mhm.
And you know, it's not $1 million one, but it's an expensive one. You know, it's got the push out slides and all. And he was saying that now it's a couple of years old, and these little latches on those doors and things are breaking on them, and he's got to go in and retrofit it. And he goes, if you go to the company that makes it, they charge you a fortune for the stupid little hardware. So he's going to Ace and he's finding his own stuff.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I didn't think you'd have to do that with something of that caliber. You know?
That's what I've been telling people. I was like, one of my buddies bought an RV. I think he paid $150,000 for it.
Yeah.
On his way home, the cabinet started falling off the walls.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
They're made really cheap, man.
that's what he said. He says you got to be like in the $1 million range to get in the ones that don't fall apart. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people rolling those $1 million ones too, man. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where to get the money from, but
yeah,
Old money.
and if you had it, would you spend it on that? You know?
Yeah, think about your house. If you got $1 million bus, what does your house look like?
Yeah, right.
No. If you got $1 million bus, that means there's plenty more where that came from. You're not going to
Yeah, that's
spend
what I mean.
like $1 million on the bus and be like, oh, now we got $2 million in the bank. Let's spend $1 million on the bus. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
man.
Oh.
No.
They're really nice though. I mean, but you know, I watch those shows when they show those $1 million RVs, and it's all cosmetic stuff that makes it that expensive. You know what I mean? They got the marble floors and the gold fixtures. I don't need all that mess. What the heck?
Right.
You paying all that money to show off? I'm not sure. I don't. You know what I mean?
Nah, close the door, lock it. Yo, this is home.
Yeah. I'm gonna have mine gadget up, you know, because I like gadgets. But
Mm.
when it comes to that kind of stuff, man, shoot. When I was coming up, when I was, younger, I always wanted a mansion, like a real nice house with marble and blah blah blah.
I didn't want that.
Well, listen, one of our friends, we went over to the house for dinner, and I'm sitting there looking at stuff, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I had these floors imported from Italy," and she goes, "But I can't clean it with regular cleaner. I got to use this special stuff, and I got to get on my hands and knees." And I'm looking at stuff, and I'm counting stuff, right? I'm like, "Well, those marble floors, there's a boat." And I'm looking at her fixtures on her doorknobs. I'm like, "Those gold fixtures, there's jet skis." I'd rather have stuff I could play with the family than to have a $500,000 house. See, here, a $5,000 house is a mansion. Where Terry lives, you're in a regular neighborhood.
No, look at raising the same boat. New York is expensive.
It is. It really is.
You know?
My son bought a house for $210,000, and it, Terry, I'm telling you, it's the same neighborhood as yours. Same exact neighborhood.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, for $210,000.
That's why once I retire, man. Once I retire, man. So
Yeah, $500,000
garage shop
here.
That's why I'm looking at North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, $500,000 here, dude. You are the man. You're living in the big dog section.
I'm counting on selling this place and pocketing a couple $100,000 and buying a house cash.
Yeah,
Cash.
That's what I'm counting on. Let's see if it happens. I don't know.
I think you'll be all right. I think you will.
And then the garage shop.
See, that's what's nice about your
And a
situation.
garage shop. Yes, right. Have one built.
Yeah, you guys are in a good situation because if you sell, man, you got some cheese.
Yeah. We should have sold when that whole pandemic hit because the guy across the street, he made a killing. And then my buddy up the street from the garage shop, he was trying to sell, but he took it off the market. But he sold in the midst. He probably was asking maybe 470, maybe 5. Came in like he said 760 for his house.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I was watching North Carolina close, especially the areas I'm looking at, and they went sky high too, just like here did. So
really.
And I said, well, you know what? Even if it's an even wash, I don't care. It's going to be cheaper to live down there because the taxes are like nothing.
Nothing.
But now it's coming down.
That's what's killing you.
I pay $800 a year here.
Taxes?
$800 a year. Yep, property tax.
I would love that.
And when I lived out in the country,
if I could pay $800 a year property tax, I wouldn't even think about moving.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Well, I lived in Queens. I was paying $500 a year, something like that, on a 28 by 80 piece of property. It was like small, but here in good old Nassau County,
oh my gosh,
14,000 a year.
Wow.
Yep.
Look at this guy.
You better take a nap.
take a nap.
No rest
Right.
up, Brian.
Man.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, guys,
is that
what's
a
going
welder
on?
behind you?
Huh? That's my plasma cutter.
You're all rested up and ready to rock and roll?
Man, we're going for the marathon. I hope you guys took a little nap.
What were you doing? What was keeping you busy?
Taxes.
Oh, great.
Molly, my dad used to do all my paperwork and our tax wise, and of course, me and the computer and inputting stuff.
Don't work
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, we don't work very well together. And so Molly's been the official thing. So she didn't have that bad, but she had a little stack of receipts that she was trying to read my chicken scratch on.
Okay.
So we got that all straightened out, and then I had another distributor stop by. He needed a few things for a sale tomorrow.
I thought you meant a distributor.
And Terry, it was good seeing you, bud.
Always a pleasure, bro.
I was going to send you a dirty message, but I figured I didn't want to get you started up yet.
Oh, dirty message. Go ahead, send it now. What?
I didn't want to, upset the apple cart. We're starting that bonding moment, friendship, deep down love, and I didn't want to send you something about between, real men and boys with LSs. But I still respect you.
That's all
I
it
love
matters.
You wouldn't be the first, and you get 1 week. I get 1 week. It's all love. We see each other. I'm going to buy you a beer.
I know. Well, I can't wait because
Yeah.
that's now one of my missions. Now is that we definitely have to kind of gather everybody up since the situation with Chassis John. That's
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much it really I don't want to say affect me, but it hit me. I mean, it just was really kind of
Shocking.
unbelievable, you
Yep.
know.
No, Chassis John was
So-
definitely, like a glue figure, because
Yeah.
he's a straight shooter. He tell you how it is. He's a gentle soul. He really is. I'm really glad that I got to meet him. Actually,
Yeah.
I saw him a couple times at SEMA, him and his wife. So I'm really thankful for that. And
Yeah,
he's going to be
I'm
forgotten. He's not going to be
so
forgotten.
mad at myself when I was at Expo down there, and of course it was just the elapse of time and everything going on that I just didn't say F this and find a car and do what I wanted.
Yeah, that's what life does. I was just talking to a good buddy tonight. This guy, I grew up down the block from him. He's older than me, and he was one of my early mentors, and we still talk cars all the time. He's in his 70s now, and he knew John Shop and all, and he was asking me about it. And I told him about that last phone call we had that was followed by texting, because the phone call ended because we were both crying so much we
Yeah.
couldn't talk.
Yeah.
And it went into texting, and I'm sitting there with just tears streaming down my face. My wife's like, "What?" I said, texting John, and you guys should see these last texts. I mean, this is when, he knew it was the end. He knew he called to say goodbye,
Yeah.
which was ripping my heart out with a chain and a rusty chain and a broken beer bottle. But then in the texting, he was really like saying things like you're saying, Terry. He goes, I really just enjoy the friendship with you guys so much. And I said, he goes, and things that he regretted. And I said, John, I wish I could have been under your tutelage and learned to do some chassis work, and done some of that. I said, you're the perfect teacher, the perfect master.
Yeah.
I said, but that's not how life works.
Yeah.
We get what we get, and sometimes we can capitalize on it and make it a little more or go to the next step. Sometimes we can't. We never have that opportunity.
No, and to piggyback on what Brian was saying, but he would want us to stay the same.
Yes.
He would want us to. He wouldn't want us to be nice to each other, nicer to each other.
No.
So having said that, the best Mustang in the world is probably powered by a LS.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry I'm so late to the game, but did you guys talk about the new Chrysler, that
No.
video that's all over the place?
No.
Oh, that glass roof Charger.
Yeah, the one that's electric. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the
it's electric.
I didn't
yeah,
see it.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's all
It's
over.
nice.
all over
It's actually a
social
nice
media.
looking car.
Man,
They
that's
don't
a
want-
nice looking car.
I don't watch TV. I watch YouTube. I never.
It's
read
all
You know what
over
it kind
the
of almost
place.
reminds me of? It has a profile of the Audi A5 almost. It looks almost the profile of an Audi A5 with the whole back window being a little bit bigger, but it's a two-door coupe. It's electric. It's a pretty nice looking ride.
Let me tell you guys something. Just as a side note, I had to take this trip to Jersey to my buddy to pick up these parts, and we're coming back over the GW Bridge, and we're on the Cross Bronx, and we're sitting there, and there's like a Tesla. I'm like, boy, I hope that guy isn't on low battery range because we're not moving anywhere for like 40 minutes, you know. And if that dude's low, he's screwed. Like we got a tank of gas, you know.
Yeah.
What car is that one you were talking about, Terry? I'm gonna
It's
look
the
it
new.
It's called
the new
it's
Charger.
like
right?
an electric. It's a Charger. Yeah.
up. Charger.
Yeah, it's the new Charger. They've been showing videos of it all week. I mean, but I was like, wow. I mean, because like 3 days before that, they came out with that Hemi Last Call or whatever promotion at the dealership. I mean, it was like, you got to put your order in now for the last gas jobbers. Other than that, dude, it's this. They're going to be the, I guess, the front runners on a performance thing or whatever, you know, because I can't classify that stupid
There it
Mach-E
is.
thing.
Yeah, I found it. That's pretty sweet, dude.
I hope they have a good electrical system.
Well,
They'll figure that out later. Don't worry.
they'll put, dude. We're. I mean, this is, you know.
Duracells.
You know what we should do? We should have a pool and how long it takes before someone yanks that electric crap out and puts a Hemi in it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen. They're doing it with Tesla, so it's going to happen.
I saw it on the Tesla, and the problem was the architecture of the body wasn't built with any kind of a transmission tunnel or any kind of a, you know,
Right.
they had to build they had to slice the car down the middle and build a transmission tunnel. So you really are
Yeah.
re-engineering the car.
Who's gonna be the first one? Who's gonna have the balls to do it? Because that car is probably gonna be like a $50,000 car to start.
At least.
Yeah.
And
It'd
did you
be
hear
food
also what they're doing is when they also showed that car, I don't know if they showed that car, they said that what they're doing is they're making carbon fiber. This is direct connection from Mopar, 70 Chargers.
Really?
Yeah.
And they said, yep, they unveiled one and it looked really good. A carbon fiber, it's got the frame, it's a rolling chassis, you know, no engine. I don't think there's a floorboard in it, but it's a carbon fiber 70 Charger. And then they said the Roadrunner's next, and then the Cuda. So that's
Yeah.
going to be huge. So now
Now-
all these people, you know, I
Go
feel,
on, Terry.
I wonder, like, now I have a buddy, 612. They make those Chargers, 69 Chargers, out of like a new Hellcat Challenger. I wonder if that's going to be affected, if he's going to lose his, because he has a waiting list. But I wanted people to be like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to wait for the 69, the 70 Charger to come out, and I'll buy the shell. And I know there's going to be someone that's going to be like, hey, listen, you know, shell costs $60,000. We can finish that car for like 150, 200. People will buy them.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't.
I just had a vision of somebody with one of those electric cars out on the side of the freeway with a Honda generator charging it
Yeah.
up.
Like when those Wagner generators are, you know, everyone.
Well, it was funny because the other day while I was going through my diecast hunting, in the 20 pack, I didn't buy it, but I thought it was kind of interesting because it's sometimes in those 5 and 9 and 20 packs, they'll put a special scheme or a special car in those. They won't be on a card. So, but this is the Chevy Volt. And I love the way they did that. Let me see. See the Volt, and they had the motor, the generator, the electric motor sticking out of the hood.
That's cool.
That's pretty neat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I gotta wait till this thing. I gotta keep an eye when they go on some kind of clearance, because it's $20 for one car, and
Oh wow.
because it's a 20 pack. most of the 20 packs, they'll have one or two good ones, but a lot of them are the fantasy cars, like that green one on top.
Yeah.
And I don't go with a lot of there's only a few fantasy cars that I like.
Okay, I got a confession. I was at Target the other day, and I was in the Hot Wheels section looking around,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't know where I was looking at, so I didn't buy anything.
All right.
But you know what I mean? I'm looking for something that I don't know. I was
You look for
actually
something that
looking for-
reminds you of your youth.
Yeah, I was actually looking for the lowrider you picked up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, this is the hard part about it, because somebody says, "Oh my God, they want X amount of money for that car or whatever." I mean, for me, it's not the value; it's what I like.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the stuff that I like,
It's everything.
well, it's not everything, but it has some of those are pretty expensive cars. I mean, some of that stuff gets kind of ridiculous, and so then and I always tell people, if you're buying it, if you think you're going to make money, you think you're doing an investment, it's just like buying a car, dude. It takes, you got to understand, they made billions of these things, so you're not, there's a few of them that are limited, and even then, I kind of questioned the limitation of the limits of those.
Just buy it because you like it. That's all that counts.
I mean,
There
for
you
me,
go.
that's what
There
it
you
is.
go.
Of course, it's a really bad habit, but
But you know
yeah.
what, Brian? Listen, this is the way I look at it. Everybody has their hobbies. Motor guys, they build, $50,000 motors. You got guys that are bicyclists. They have 20 grand in a 10-speed. So everybody has their hobbies, and it costs. It just costs.
Yeah.
So I never look down on anybody's hobby. You know what I mean? Or anybody's their what do you call it?
Their love, their passion.
Their passion.
These
yeah.
and this was really cool, and I guess this is where they're going to go with it. This is the micro versions, or the micro cars. I only have a few of those. These are the real little ones.
I remember those.
Yeah. Well, they just came out with, of course, everything with the Fast and Furious, but they did a house scene.
Oh
The
yeah.
house from the movie, and then the shed with the Charger and the Brian's. I guess it was Brian, right? That guy
Yeah.
that died. His.
Emu. What's it called?
I don't even know what that was. Some Jap crap.
Yeah, Emu. Eat something.
So
Yeah. Brian likes the guys that have the tool hobbies.
yeah, well, and of course,
Yeah.
this is back in my day when we had to communicate with a car,
Right.
a typewriter.
Yeah.
I seen that. That's pretty funny.
I've seen that one tuning up a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, that's
think
a
the guy-
356. That's a
No.
356 there. So that was the good old days,
Yeah.
man.
I got hooked on those little figurines, the homies,
Yep.
and the only place you could get them is in the bubblegum machines. And me and my wife drove all over Youngstown, Warren. I mean, I bet you we drove 40 miles radius looking for these homies.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. There was another one. I can't remember it was like I don't want to say Dungeons and Dragons, but it was some kind of war. They were warriors. I don't know. It was futuristic, but I was just reading something on them. Man, those things are $400-500 a piece now. It was
Really?
something out. Same thing.
Yeah.
And the limitations on them. I was just watching this thing on YouTube. Some dude he walked into a thrift store, and there was a big bag for $10, and he cashed out on it pretty good.
I hope he sells them quick before the value drops.
It's like everything else with those things. What comes around goes around, and
Yep.
it'll go in the shitter and come. It's just like everything else. So
I have baseball.
somebody down the road will do a remake of them, and then the prices will stumble a little bit, and then once they find out the difference between real and or the newer and old, then That's what happened with a lot of my NASCAR diecast.
Yeah.
The first generation of that stuff is decent money now, but once new people come into collecting, then they want to reproduce what they did, and then you had people that are trying to pawn off the secondary to the first, and the market got really screwy for a while.
Yep.
But they always leave one little glitch. So, but yeah, but it was a crazy week. Hopefully, it ends better.
Hey, did you find any more of the lights?
I'm going to double check to make sure I have. I know that I think I have the housings, 2 housings, 2 frames. I got one good lens. I'm seeing if I had another lens. I have one lens that's cracked.
Okay. I was looking at the back end of that car. It would be sweet if I could get that whole piece that goes around that whole chrome.
You have that much room, you think?
Oh yeah, I'd have to stretch it actually.
Is it on a Cadillac?
No, the Thunderbird rear, the 60. What is it? 65?
65 Thunderbird sequential lights, the tail lights, the square ones.
Oh, yeah.
But did you see the framing goes around it? That goes all the way across the whole back end.
Yeah.
That's across the whole back of the bus, man. That'd be sweet.
That's I think that's a stainless steel trim piece.
Yeah, Arco has a couple.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That guy has.
Does he have any more of the lights?
I'm not sure. He's doing his car show this weekend, so
Uh-huh.
he said next week he'll be freed up to do some stuff. So he's gonna go look for me. But
I went through I found one set and I found part of another set. I just want to make sure I have one set for me before I give everything away.
Yeah. Let me know because man, that'd be sweet on there, man. Woo.
Yeah, I started thinking. I don't know if it's with the bus. I guess they're close to what the square. Because then I was like, I don't know if you want to try to make something because you don't want it too small on the bus. I mean, how big the bus is, it might look. I don't know if it's going to look funny.
Well,
have it eye level. Eye level to the driver.
A little bit higher than eye level, but the thing is, the lights that are there now are 7-inch round. So your lights is probably what 5 inches tall. So it won't be that much of a difference. Plus, my lights.
It's only about 4 inches.
4 inches. So I'm 2 inches or 3 inches short of what's in there now. And those will be blinking sequential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll be good. And I'm on the lights at the top. I'm gonna turn those into turn lights and signals too, brake lights too. You know what I mean?
Oh,
the ones at the
You
very.
want it so nobody can say I didn't see you.
Oh yeah.
Well, the size of that bus, they shouldn't be able to say that. But trust me,
Oh, they. Yeah.
I mean, when I was hit with the tool truck, they said they didn't see the tool truck, and I was like, dude, it's a freaking white elephant. You tell me you can't see that thing?
Right. People are dumb.
Yeah.
But I'm also doing the chicken lights all the way down the side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put 10 on each side, down all the way down. So I'm gonna light her up, boy. She's gonna be
bright.
Yeah. But yeah, I was looking at that piece that goes around the back of that Thunderbird. You know what I was thinking also is, where the Thunderbird in the middle?
Yeah.
Take that out and put the Bluebird from the bus in there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
I'm
would
thinking,
be cool.
man. I'm doing some fabricating.
I guess, yeah. Especially if you can stretch that out a little bit.
Yeah, I want to
you got a lot
have
of space there.
Yeah, I want to have some car flavor on the bus. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do something up front too. Maybe the grill. Maybe put like some kind of real nice grill on it. Give it more of a. Let people know that I'm a car guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, I got.
Just do your digging. If you find them, If not,
Yeah. I found. When Ray said it the other day when I put my little reel, my Hot Wheels, dude, cleaning up. Man, I've got this car half unburied, guys.
Nice.
I mean, it's
You're getting there.
yeah, your step to recovery is to start unpacking it.
yeah,
Yep.
I tell you, that's it's, and hopefully, I don't find any more boxes of parts. I'm really hoping I don't. As much as I mean, it sounds funny to say, but every time I turn around, I find like a shifter or a linkage or
Well, what do you think?
inserts to. I mean, all kind. I thought it was all. I mean, the whole inside of the car is filled with boxes.
What do you
of all
think's going to
parts.
be in the boxes that you find?
I know.
It's going to be parts.
So you don't want to find more parts because you don't want to put it together, or what?
No. It's just I'm like, it's just like, well, I thought this was with the car, I mean, I've just, I come across, like I said, I come across and I find a whole bunch of brackets for, I had a more seat frames, the seat trackings.
Yeah.
Like I said, I found in another box, I found a whole bunch of carburetor stuff that I thought I had gotten rid of. Actually, it was more carburetor stuff,
Yeah.
So, like I said, I just thought that the first time, the time that I packed all that stuff up, I thought I put it all in the car, and I keep I come across and now my mom's on a mission. She's starting to clean out. I guess, she's gotten to that point. Everything's good. I mean, she's healthy for the, 80-year-old, but she's starting to go through stuff. And
Yeah.
she gave me a whole bunch of, and they're special screws. They were for, trim panel stuff in the car.
Mhm.
I thought those were all in the coffee can in the car, and shit, she gives me a baggie full of all that stuff, I'm like, and the window clips, those little
All right.
W clips to hold
Yep.
the trim in.
Yeah, you need all that.
You want to
Yeah.
hang on to them? Because I found out where my buddy did my glass. The newer ones, the replacement ones, they're not the same as the originals.
Yep. That's a big problem, because I've had guys ask me, they can't, they can't get the trim on, or they don't fit over the pin. They try to put it over the pin and it's too tight, too small for the pin, and then they snap the pin off
Yep.
of the car. So,
Terrible.
but
I feel you, man. I got stuff everywhere, all through the house and the basement, and it's like, man, you could never have a big enough garage.
yeah,
No.
You get
I
more
don't
crap.
know. I was watching you, Terry. I was watching your thing the other day that you had on there. One of your things, and I'm like, never have enough room.
Mm-mm.
Never. That's what me and Molly were joking about when I was doing my tax receipts and had everything out, by the month. And it's like, it's across the kitchen table and it's over on the kitchen counter and we're all running around, and it's like, then you never fails. You find 2 Februarys, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is all, you start a whole pile going through. So it's crazy.
No, you never have enough room. I mean, you think you have enough room, but then just you don't.
Yeah,
You can give me a 20-car garage. I fill it up.
Doing a car and a half garage. I don't know, man. You must have been crawling over all kinds of stuff.
It's the desire to want to do it. You know?
No, I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, Lou's been in my house.
Yeah, my head touches the ceiling, and I could spread my arms out and touch both walls. But hey, you know what? That shows you. My wife, when my wife seen your garage, she said, "Now look at he's doing that in that little garage, and people complain that they can't do it."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Terry's getting it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more to go. More to go.
You know,
Le Mans
you're
is
right.
coming over in the winter, so I can work on that. 67 Chevelle hopefully gets back on its frame. Roll that out. Yeah, because we're going to do a quick one to Le Mans.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, keep
So-
busy, man.
On my bus, man, I'm gonna do the whole front, like the driver's compartment, like a car. I'm gonna do the dashboard. I'm gonna do it just like I might do it like a Tesla. I'm gonna take maybe an iPad, put in the dash, big iPad.
Yeah.
So I want you to feel like you're riding in a car or a nice truck. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do the door panels and everything. I'm gonna do it just like a car.
Yeah, you gotta look at like one of those new Bronco dashes with the
I haven't seen it.
with the they have can't remember if it's like 12. They have each step of the Bronco. It's kind of like the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer. You know, they have those 3 stages, and the top of the line has some like 18-inch iPad thing coming out of the dash. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. A buddy of mine just got one, and it's really nice.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean-
something like that.
I'm just old fashioned.
Yeah,
I
I
like
know. I'm the same way.
I
I
love
mean,
gauges.
I love tech. You know what I mean? I
but
want to.
yeah,
Not
be used to it.
sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't. Like I said, I shouldn't push any buttons on a computer. So I'm like Fred Flintstone. You know, I'm pretty bad.
You sound like my daughter. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Like,
Back in the old days, before they can log into your computer, and when we had a problem, we'd have a tech guy there, and he says, "Now, hit this button," and of course the screen would change, and you're like, "Dude, I'm on the wrong side of this screen. I should not." He goes, "Y'all, you can't hurt anything." I said, "That's the famous last words right there, dude.
Mhm.
Can't hurt anything." So.
The other day, I got partial of my interior for my seats. I'm with suede in the middle and leather on the outside. So I got the suede in. It had a big sale on it, man. I had to buy it. I was like, "Oh, give it to me."
Yeah.
So I got the suede part, and I got to order the leather, and I might start on those. I'm gonna put a lot of padding in it, puff it up, make it real comfy like a couch.
You'd be sleeping going down the road.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Mhm.
careful, huh?
You're in kit mode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to head on off. I see a little boy who needs to be in his bed,
Yeah.
peeking
Yeah,
through.
man,
All right,
it's 11
Terry.
o'clock.
No.
I know.
All right,
fellas.
gentlemen.
Terry,
Take
call
care,
me, man, so we can maybe coordinate on hotels or something out there,
You got it, bud. We'll do it.
and we'll figure out how we get Ray in the trunk, get him to the airport.
Yeah.
Like I said, we got an 18 kidnapping.
Yeah.
Play the 18 music.
yeah.
Da, da, da.
You know what? There's one of those vans around here too. I could borrow it. We come up there with the 18, the real van.
Now, I would drive that to Las Vegas. That I would not mind. Like one of those C10, those Chevy, what was it, Chevy 10? I wouldn't mind that one bit.
Yeah.
I like those vans. Well, the 18 was a GMC, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a GMC.
Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah, it was an 83 GMC.
I like
right
that.
there, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's on the very bottom, and that would be a mess if they all fall over. I can't sneak it out. Sorry.
See, you give me a 20 car garage, that would be one of the cars in there.
Yeah.
One of those vans. One of those, a C10 van, a Chevy, whatever. Is it a C10 or G10?
See,
You see?
See,
What were the G's?
there were
the G was
Gs,
the work vehicle, the work
commercial,
yeah.
commercial thing. Yeah.
Oh,
And so
Well,
just
I'm
like the
gonna get out
seats,
of here too because they've been saving supper for a while.
so the
Well,
C10 was on the van and the truck.
Okay, Papa Squirrel,
I
be
do believe
safe.
So yeah,
Okay.
All right, take it easy, Pop Squirrel.
because
See, education.
it was the chassis, the weight rating.
Oh,
Yep. All right, so I'm gonna jump off too because these bugs are getting loose.
All right,
yeah, I'm heading
mosquito
out.
man.
All right.
And you guys be safe.
We win.
See you guys later.
Be
All right.
safe, guys. Take care.
Oh. All right,
Hey, I got something in the mail, Ray.
you did.
Yeah. Boy, that was man, you know, the other night it was funny because now it's, you know, it was like it's, you know, we're back to season 1 episode, you know, it's
I know.
started over again.
And I don't know about you, but I am not a fan of the Wedford Townsend act. I hate those 2 first episodes.
Yes.
For me, it starts. It's episode 3 is really the first episode.
Yeah. And so I was sitting here and I was like, what the fuck are they playing on the TV? And I realized, and I was like, God, this is so bad. And of course I said, oh, it must be the last season. And I said, I hate those
The movies, yeah.
the movie things. And they had, you know, with San Diego and
Yeah, Puget
Washington
Sound.
State.
Yeah.
And,
I hated
And
them
they-
too. I mean, because they took the guys. All right, they were at you're at a convention or a convention, but the one they actually let them work with them, but it was like, you know what it was. I mean, like that book I sent you the picture of. I bought that. That book is so good. It
Yeah.
explains every little detail about that show, and they explained how, Teague and Mantooth were still under contract, and they had to put out X amount of content, and everybody else's contract was done. So that's where they came about with the movies. And there was actually a couple scripts that didn't get filmed. They even cover those in the book.
oh yeah.
But like they even changed the theme song. It wasn't the same theme.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah, it was really, I was like, God, I was like, man. And so I was like, well, there's not too many of those, you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, now the thing that drives me crazy, I think this is the third time of restarting over again. I really wish they'd shuffle the deck and find something else because like I said, I've just, watched.
Well, Adam 12, the same thing. They do it with Adam 12.
Yeah.
And they did it with Chips when that was on. And the Adams family only had like 3 seasons, so that repeated fast.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
At least for Emergency, there's a bunch of them. But it was funny. I was talking in the beginning of the show. I was talking with this guy, Joe Hines, who wrote this book.
Oh,
We had him on the radio show and on here about a year ago. So I had it in my notes that he worked at Holly, and I decided this week I got to put this sniper system on the car. I got to go.
Yeah.
I got to just spend the money, and so I sent him an email to see if he was still there, and he is. It ends up he started with them as on the tech line.
Oh.
Because he had been a GM tech in a dealership, and he had his own shop, and he speaks hot rods as well as factory. Kind of like when I had Joe on the show with me, he was just really the same kind of guy. But they saw that what he knew was so in depth, they kind of bumped him up the chain quick. And now what he is like he doesn't answer consumer calls. He's a tech guy for when the techs have problems. So he's like master Uber super tech. And he said he kind of misses talking with the people because you get to talk about the cars and, he goes, I don't miss it because you're finding these guys who think they know what they're doing and they got step 1 wrong. Or they tried to start at step 5, and they did everything else wrong. So he says, but anyway, so I asked him, can you help me with the sniper system, put the pieces together that I need? He goes, yeah, what do you let's talk about it. So I worked up a list that I'm going to go with the system approach with their distributor to control timing in the whole bit.
Uh-huh.
Because he said guys were having trouble. And I think maybe that's what the problem was with this guy who had this on his car. He said he didn't like it, didn't run right. First of all, Holly's been buying up everybody. Well, they own MSD. He says,
Oh yeah.
if you have an early MSD distributor or earlier MSD 6A or 6AL box, they interfere. There's an RFI interference with the
Oh,
sniper.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
So he confirmed that for me yesterday. And he said if a guy has an older setup that still works and he puts a sniper on, he's going to have trouble and he's going to blame the sniper. And I said, that's kind of how I got this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And the second one he put on, the single one, he took that off too because it wasn't right. And of course, he never changed anything else. He went to carburation and he's fine. So I said, okay, well, I want to go. I'm a systems approach guy. I want your distributor. I want to do timing control, the whole bit. So we're working on that, but he's building a 55 Chevy. So, and he's doing it with a big block Chevy engine, and he wants to put Hillborn like 12-inch stacks on it through the hood. He goes, 2-lane Gasser style. I'm like,
Yeah.
my favorite movie in the world, right?
Yeah.
So he says, yeah. I said, well, of course they didn't have stacks through the hood, but the car is going to be done that way. So we got to, the conversation diverts, and he goes, and of course, that car was used other places. I'm like, well, yeah, of course I know. So he says, of course, American Graffiti. I'm like, right. And then he beat me to it. He goes, and even in emergency or in Adam 12. I'm like, damn. I said, you know about that, huh? I said, when they pull it, Reed and McCoy pull into the alley between the stores, and there's that. I said it was still primer. It must have been right out of the movie still,
Yeah.
I said, I got screenshots of that. So when I sent them the email telling them what parts I needed, I included the screenshots from Adam 12. And then I was telling about the drag strip when they had the one at when what's his name? Dick Clark was the drag
Dick Clark. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, there was a big block Chevy in there that had a high-rise dual quad tunnel ram with the carburetor sitting sideways. I said, I never saw that, but I ran it by my buddy, the guys at the UD. He's got one, and he showed it to me. He's like, yeah, it was kind of a like an experimental thing back in the 70s. So I sent the pictures to him. We'll see. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. Here's what he was going to say, but I got to get him on. I'll get him on the radio show, and I'll get him on here too.
The experimental or that type, that was from when when the carbs were forward, they were trying to keep them from see, sideways to me would be like the fuel would be pushed back, or
right,
being,
well, that's why Holly had two different types of fuel bowls. They had the standard ones with a side hung, and then the race ones with a center hung.
Yeah.
So that they weren't as affected by the gravity. But putting the carburetor sideways, let's see, if you they put them sideways with the belt crank facing forward, the side hung floats hang off the left side. So under acceleration, it would be pushing the float down. Yeah. So maybe that's why it was experimental. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I kept looking at that because I actually got home early one day, like 2 weeks ago or whatever, and that episode was on Adam 12. That one episode,
right,
with the racetrack, and I was like, God, that can't work. I mean, with the car lifting up and being off, I just said it's got to affect something, or it can't. Those are things that you don't think about, or people look at when you say something, they look at you like, what planet are you from?
Oh yeah.
It was awesome today, Ray.
There it is.
Yeah.
And that's a Ford motor too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let me see. That's what was awesome today.
Oh, it was funny. I'm traveling to one of my shops, and I pull in and I see this younger girl. I don't know how old she was. I mean, she wasn't young, but so she's walking around in the street, and she looked kind of perturbed. And I said, "Is everything okay?"
Uh-huh.
And she kind of snapped at me at first, I guess.
This was my friend Dougie's car with the big block Chevy with the same carburetors.
Yeah.
So it really did exist. So
Huh.
so this girl was just walking around on the street?
She's walking around in a circle, in the middle of the street,
Right.
and she had this look on her face, and then there was a car sitting there, and she had her iced coffee, and she had a backpack laying over and still kind of in the street, and she's walking around in circles, and she's got this look on her face, you could tell, after being in a house full of women, you kind of understand the look.
Yeah. Right.
They're still up, so I have to whisper that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, so I said, "Hey, is everything okay?" And she kind of snapped,
Right.
And I was like, "Hey, I'm just, She goes, "I'm locked out of the car. I'm having one of those days."
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Oh." I said, "Well, I'm sorry. You want me to get in your car?" And she goes, "Oh, and like you can do that."
Ah.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I don't have to.
are you okay, or do you want me to get in your car? And she's like, "Yeah, if you can get in." I said, "Okay." So I go back to the tool truck, get out one of the lockout kits,
Yep.
walked over, and she's like looking at me. She's like, "Okay." So I stick the wedge in, 2 pumps, slide in, pop the door, and she goes, "You're in."
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
And I said, what did I say to her? I said, "Oh, I'm not a professional or anything."
I just got out of Joliet doing an 8 to 12 bit for GTA.
She didn't know what to say. It was the funniest damn thing.
I think thank you would have sufficed.
Yeah, so I said, "Well, I hope I made your day better now." So
Right.
she
Right.
goes, "Well, what do I owe you?" And I said, "Not a thing. Just
I want that iced coffee.
just be careful and have a good day." So
Right. Nice.
So that was funny.
So, all right. I got a hydraulic cylinder issue I have to deal with. I had the tow truck brake lines were a clusterfuck. That was another disaster. And I have a headlight issue. So where do you want to go? Hydraulic or small hydraulic or electric? Okay. Fan mail. The fans are looking for you. Please don't run my credit card. Please don't run my credit card, Brian. I'm at the bar.
No, Molly made it home.
Oh, good, good.
She lives on campus up at Towson, and that's like 45-minute trip, no traffic. It's all
Right.
It's up on the 95 to 695 corridor up by Baltimore.
Right, right.
So traffic wise, it's a pain in the ass, but I think she didn't realize she didn't think it was going to take as long as it did to do the paper,
Oh yeah.
tax stuff, and I just wanted to make sure she got home,
Is she studying finance?
No. She's in with forensics and stuff like that. She's a couple weeks ago, she was on her internship. She was in the police helicopter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. She said they had like 2 car chases, and she said the guy took her over the harbor, and they did the Magnum PI 2 feet off the water, skimming along at 175 miles an hour or whatever.
Nice.
She said when you're up high, you don't realize how, the speed is not the same,
Right.
And they dropped it down and did the buzz across the harbor.
Yeah.
And she said it was like unbelievable flying along.
Well, it's like, ride a motorcycle and you look at the ground when you're doing about 80 or 90. And, whoa,
Yeah.
it's fast.
Yeah, that dude, speaking of Magnum, that dude TC died last week.
Right. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. Car crash.
Yeah. Yeah. So she was in Air One.
I asked her, I said, ask the guy like Blue Thunder questions.
Right. Yeah.
She goes, what's Blue Thunder? I was like, never mind.
Right.
Damn kids. So what do you think is going to be the easiest? What do you mean headlight problems? What are you talking about?
The other night, Linda and I decided to go out for a drive. I took my Fiat. Now, years ago, I had wired in headlight relays for the high and low beams. No problems. And put halogen lights in. I mean, I haven't used the headlights in the car in like 2 years because, like, this year I had it up. I only drove it in a day. Last year I only took it out for inspection. So last year it didn't get used. So it's at least 2 years that I've even used the lights. So we're backing out of the driveway, and my daughter's at home. She's watching us leave, and she sends Linda a text and says, "Oh, tell Dad his right headlight is out." I'm like, what? So I get up into town. I get out. I look. I'm like, yeah, the right headlight is out. So I tap it. Doesn't come on. I'm like, all right. So I drove around all night. I noticed as I was driving, I flicked on the high beams, and then not only did the high beams not come on, but the one low beam went out. So I lost everything.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I went back to low beam, and the one low beam came back on. All right. So yesterday I'm troubleshooting, and I said, well, let me see. It sounds to me everything should be right. It's probably the bulb, at least on the low beam side. So I pull the bulb out, and I'm checking the harness for voltage, and I got nothing. So I go back to the relays, and I verify. Well, this is another post I'm going to make. I don't have one here, but I use those Worth fuse holders, the black ones that you kind of push and what did I find? I had 2 hot leads for the for the battery power for the 2 relays, and on one of them, my red wire the red wire from the relay was disconnected. The screw backed out and fell out of the fuse holder sometime along the way. Like, I never saw that happen.
Yeah.
So I got another one. I put a screw in, attached it, and now I'm checking. I had power at the relays. I took the factory wiring, those 2-prong connectors, and I had power there. I go into the car. I had power in the fuse box because that car has a fuse for the right low beam, left low beam, right high beam,
right.
Left. And those are the old ceramic, not the ceramic, but the
bullet shaped ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can see if they're good.
Yeah,
good.
I think it's like Lucas.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
But so that was all good. I'm like, all right. So then I'm playing around, and then I switched the bulb. I put a different bulb in. It didn't work. I'm like, all right, no, I got nothing at the socket. Then I put the high beams on. Then what had happened? The way I left it was now I don't have either low beam now, but I have high beams. Like,
it sounds like a combination switch.
Yeah, but the dash switch, the headlight switch is a toggle switch that has 3 positions: off, parking lights, headlights. That's it.
It's not in a column. I mean, it's not.
It's on the dash.
Part of the dash.
And the high beam switch is on the column.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, and this was like hadn't been touched. So like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, well, I can drive it. I'll just use the high beams for now if I have to, but a head scratcher, and I haven't gotten back to it again. So
Sounds. I mean, I think it's. I mean, I had in my old tool truck. I had something kind of similar, and it was it was because of the headlight. I mean, the high beam switch, in the column.
Okay.
I would turn on. I would go for high beams, and it would either I would not have them. Or when I did that, I would hit the high beams on, and then I would get the turn signal quarter lights would come on. Because it had the little white light on the side, so when you put the turn signal on, it had a white light shining off to the side.
Light. Yeah, a little corner light.
So, but when I would put the high beams on, those came on. It was like, it's not even with the turn signal.
Right. Yeah, this is like I said, it's weird. First I had one low beam, no high beams. Now I have two high beams and no low beams. I'm like, huh? I swapped the relay. I'm using Bosch relays, so I'm not using crap. I'm using good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So, it was just like such a head scratcher. And I just had dinner was ready.
And the horn works, right?
The horn works.
Yeah. Okay.
And on that car, the horn and something else are on the same circuit. And yeah, the horn works.
Yeah, because I know sometimes the horn is.
My Audi was like that. I think the horn and the brake lights were on the same circuit.
Yeah, and you get some really weird. You get some really like you blow the horn and a light would come on, or you would, or you would turn. Actually, it was funny because I guess even though people say it's not true, but I think this thing is listening to us as we talk.
Yeah. I think it's true.
Because after your brake incident with the Mustang, I got a whole bunch of videos on where they were using motorcycle brake light switches for when people do the conversion on the
instead of this stupid thing.
On the 65, 66. The brake light switch is on the brake pedal.
Yeah, mechanical switch.
Right, but when you change over to the dual master cylinder, the push rod is so you can't get the clip on.
Okay.
It's very difficult to get it on. Then you have problems where the light's very slow to react or it stays on.
I will say on Mike's, the 69, I forget if it was a 69 or 70, his Mustang, the other one, that red one that got painted white. That brake light switch was the biggest pain in the ass I ever had. The one that it's got the hole on one side and a hook on the other.
Yeah.
And it's got you got to be like a contortionist to get that thing on.
Yeah. I was
like, why couldn't it be like a GM where it just goes through the bracket and there's a nut? It's like done.
Yeah. No, that's the same way. Like that's what they had. And so they had like a motorcycle. I saved the part number because I thought it was kind of interesting. But they said one of the problems with, you were talking about, I don't know, does that car have a lower brake pedal?
Not particularly.
Okay. Because they were saying that the thickness of the dual master cylinder compared to the single one, and what happens is when you bolt it up, the rod is further away and you don't have enough adjustment.
I saw a video like that. Yeah.
I thought
it isn't my ideal brake pedal, but that's the thing. When you get a car in, like I got it in, it had no brakes.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what it felt like before, and then a lot of times I've worked on cars and said, well, I don't like that brake pedal. But like, I don't know the last guy, maybe he loves it. Maybe he loves that brake pedal. I don't know.
But I thought that was interesting that all that popped up, and I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. But like I said, I would look. I mean, on your headlight thing, I would see when you.
I tried wiggling the switches too. Doing a wiggle test to see if I could get it to come on. Yeah, it didn't do nothing.
I would see maybe that thing comes across. Because if you just have a switch on the dash that way, to make the high beams work, it's got to be sending a power back up, and it sends power
Right.
on that, right?
It's
So
got
that,
yeah.
it sends it cancels out the ground,
Right.
and of course it hasn't changed. It's not like somebody moved the ground to the wrong side.
No.
Because it's like, I think on a headlight you have low beam, high beam, ground.
Right.
I think
ground is the middle one. I think
is the ground in the middle. Yeah.
low beam and high beam are on the other sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how it is.
I can't remember. That's when you had to get out your Bosch Blue Book. It'll tell you how that's wired up.
Yeah, and I got the manuals too. Yeah. So that's a head scratcher that I got to get back to. That's it's always something.
And the hydraulic.
Yeah. Oh, I was working on the tow truck the other day. I had to change the brake line. So this was over the weekend when I looked at it, and I said, you know what? It's a 3/16 line. I said, so get me 2 lengths of it. I'm going to have to put a union in because it was like on the back of the truck. There's a valve on top of the caliper. It's like my Fiat has. I think what it is like an anti-skid valve. Because it has a piece of linkage, and the way it worked on the Fiat is, if you went under hard braking and the car would nosedive, the rear end would come up. It would unload the rear end, and then you could lock up the rear brakes. So they had a valve that the brake line went into with a mechanical piece of linkage. So as the car raised up, that linkage would mechanically close that valve to stop the fluid flow to the rear wheels.
Yeah.
It was a very early crude anti-skid. And I disconnected the whole damn thing, took it out of the car. Because whenever you put that car in the lift and the wheels would hang, you couldn't bleed the rear brakes.
Oh, because it shut the valve off.
So it was funny because my brother had taken my first Fiat to the Porsche dealership. I was fighting with trying to get a good brake pedal. I couldn't get a good brake. I'll take it, give it to me. I'll take it to work. We'll bleed the brakes. That'll be good as new. Better than new. I'm like, okay. He took it in and came back that day. I said, well, so how'd it go? He's like, that car is fucked. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I couldn't get a good brake to save my life. Neither one of us knew about that at the time. And then when I figured it out and told him, I said, all right, listen, Porsche mechanic, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something the Italians did. So, but anyway, with the tow truck, it has a valve like that. And the line comes out of that and makes 290s and just goes right down the frame rail all the way to the front of the truck. And right at the bend is where the hole in the line was, because I had Mike pushing the pedal and I was watching the brake spray. So I said, okay, I got about 1.5 feet of line that I could see. I really can't get to it because of where it is. And then the gas tank is right up against the frame. I said, but the line goes behind the gas tank. And of course, he told me, well, I want you to take the gas tank out too, because the sending unit doesn't work. I want you to fix that.
Thanks.
Later. But anyway, I went to the front of the gas tank, and now I could see they had already spliced 2 lines together, I guess, from the factory, because it just wasn't long enough. So I said, okay, I'll cut it here, take the whole thing out, put a whole new line in, get me 2 pieces of 3/16 line. I'll flare the end on the original line where I cut it, no problem. And it reminds me, I still want to get that flaring tool that Eastwood sells, that automatic flaring tool. But anyway, so I had to get me the Cooper Nickel brake line, the soft stuff. And of course, I bend it all up. I get it, I fish it in, and then I go to thread it into that valve. And I'm like, wow, the fitting on the line is too small. It just falls in the hole. So now I look at the old line. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a bigger fitting. So I told him, this line's got to go back. We need bigger fittings. I said, but I've never seen a 3/16 line with a bigger diameter fitting like this. So I don't know where Ford got it. So I go to the warehouse up the block, and the guy, I told him what I wanted, and he's come around here. So I come around, and there's a warehouse kid there. He says, follow him. So the kid takes me in the back, and he's just taking me to where all the brake lines are. He just basically told me to go find it myself. What I had to do is I had to go to 1/4 inch line to get that size of a fitting. I had to go to a 1/4 inch brake line to get that diameter fitting. So I got 2 sections, a 1/4 inch. I got a 1/4 inch union. But now when I put that in, I had to make the 1/4 inch line to the 3/16 line. That's 2 line sizes apart because there's a 5/16 in the middle. So I brought my little, I had brought my little baby food jar full of all odds and end fittings. And I think it looked like an oil pressure gauge fitting to me, but that went on the 1/4 inch side. Then I had another union that went into that the 3/16 would go in. So I showed it to Mike and I said, listen, this reduces it down. I said, I don't know if this is DOT compliant. I don't know if you care. I'm like, what do you want me to do? He goes, well, is it going to work? I said, I don't know if it's going to work till I put it in and we put pressure to it. I said, but I don't know if this is how you want me to do it. And if you don't, I don't know what to do because they didn't have anything they didn't have any conversion fittings.
Right.
So just put it in. So we did, and it held pressure. I said, okay. So now we had kind of a not so great brake pedal. It was okay, but it was fading at the bottom. He says, yeah, if we got a car in the back of this thing, we really need a better pedal. I said, okay, let me see if I can bleed the rear brakes. And that's when, of course, I couldn't open the bleeders. That's what made me take the inductor down. And I found out, I learned from when you're working with brake stuff, you got to be very careful with that inductor.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can easily blow a hydraulic system up. And I got both sides out, thank God. And then I just bled them with a one-way valve. I just pumped the pedal, one-way valve in a bottle, and we were good. But, yeah, I never came across that weird. I don't know where Ford got a 3/16 line with a 1/4 inch fitting on it. I don't know. Must have been the truck factory.
Well, actually, I don't think I have it here, but I don't know if it's on the tool truck. I have somewhere the fittings that are what you're talking about.
Oh, conversion like
And
that?
I've seen them someplace.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I have to, because they have a they're 3/16, but they have a really big head on them.
That's what the line in the truck had. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I
I
never saw it
can't
like
remember.
that. That caught me by surprise.
I can't remember. We used to sell it was called, I can't remember. I think it was SURRE. They were initials for something. And they had a brake line. You could make brake lines, fuel lines, and there was something else, but it came with a whole bunch of fittings and little like hose ends pieces that you for adding on or whatever. The fuel, I sold more of the fuel line kit because early 90s, I guess when they started going from metal to plastic lines.
Yeah.
Where they even had a conversion or adapter part where you could connect it to a steel line and then you can run your plastic line.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And that I think it was SURRE. I don't know. I can't remember what it stood for. I don't think that company's around anymore.
Yeah.
But I remember when they went on clearance, I bought up a whole bunch of that because it was all like weird or different adapters. And I remember I think I ran across that on a Ford I was working on where the brake lines were so much, the fittings were. It was like 7/16 head or whatever compared to what the three,
Right. Exactly. And the funny thing is, the fitting, the threaded part of the fitting is so much bigger, but the inside diameter is 3/16.
Right.
So it's a special end.
Yeah.
So I saved that line. I have it, and I'm going to cut those fittings off. And I'm going to put them in my little jar of tricks.
Right. Well, that's what you could have done is cut them and then put them on with your 3/16 line.
I could have and reflared the line. I know, but I always hate cutting a line that's already factory flared. I don't know. I could have done it. You're right. I could have. But
I think I know that I've got, I don't know if it's in that I've got an old toolbox just filled with fittings over the year.
So the gas tank will be somewhere down the line to do the sending unit, and then now they told me the one of the flatbeds has, I think there was a bad hydraulic line on one of the pistons. And they told me I guess they took the piston off, and the ear that the pin goes through broke, so they were going to weld it, but they decided just to buy a new piston. So he wants to know if I want to change it. I'm like, It's like, those things are heavy.
Yeah.
And my question is, we were talking about at the beginning of the show, the process of taking down the system, and Bill was saying a lot of times it's valved in different legs, so there's a valve for that leg, so you can just isolate that leg,
right?
And then when you change it and refill just that leg of the system, you just actuate there'll either be a bleeder or it could self bleed if you just actuate the piston. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, I've never played with that, so I'll be learning.
You're never too old to learn, Ray.
Well, that's what I said. It's never too old. I'm too old to learn, but I kind of like knowing a little something about the job I'm going into.
Yeah, I had a good one today, and it's still sitting in the tool truck. I had a guy bring out a drill, and he's like, of course, no work, don't work, and I'm like looking, and I put a battery in it, and I'm like, it works, and then I realize the clutch on it, I guess the bearing or whatever, I thought it was a bearing in there because it had too much play, so I was like, well, let me just take a look real quick, so I zip off the side of the case of the gun, and as I pulled it apart, I didn't realize there's a spring and 10,000 little ball bearings. It's not a sealed bearing.
Right.
It's a plastic housing that has different bearings, and and that's what adjusts
right.
From 1 to 10, on how much power, torque, on it. And I was like, and again, not knowing, not knowing anything about it, but I took that thing apart, and man, it went, and I'm like, he goes, oh yeah, it'll be next week, buddy. Sleep all in the corners.
Right.
Now I got this, I felt like that guy on Animal House, 10,000 marbles, please.
Right. Yeah.
I got ball bearings all over these little freaking ball bearings, and then it had like tapered ball bearings, like from like a wheel bearing in the middle of the hub, and then this big ass spring and 3 plates, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get this thing back.
Is that a Matco drill?
Huh?
Is it a Matco drill?
Yeah.
Can you get a diagram, an assembly diagram or something?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, at least you got that.
Yeah, I have a parts breakdown.
As long as it's not like one of those carburetor rebuild sheets where you need to find that little tiny part that fell out, but the ink kind of blurs, and it's like, is that 72 or is it 12?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And you can only blow it up so big.
Right.
You know, next thing you know, I'm kind of like, you know, I got the glasses on and I'm like looking at the computer like this close, you know, and everybody, well, why don't you just open it up? Of course, you open it up and then it's just like one big blur.
Yep.
Look, you know.
I know.
And I'm like, I've done it where I've printed it out and then blow it up from the print, you know, you get a little bigger, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn it. I don't, and of course, I guess some of the ball bearings either disintegrated or fell out, and that's why I had that play, you know, in there. Of course, I don't know how, if it's sold, you know. I got like I said, I got a mess trying to get that straightened out. That thing blew apart. I was like, damn it. Surprise.
Crazy.
And what are these guys still doing up so late? Tell you, man, it's gotten so crazy. Like that distributor that came by. I mean, he's like, oh, I see you have an extra, you know, 14 millimeter. You want to get? No, I'm not getting rid of that, dude. That's like my last one. I mean, you know, just the simplest stuff. It's
a 14 millimeter what?
Socket.
So, but if you don't sell it to him, what's the sense of keeping it?
Well, if I have a customer that needs it and I don't have it.
Okay, for a customer instead of, and he's another tool. He's a tool distributor.
Huh? Yeah, he's another distributor.
All right. Yeah.
And I mean, one of the guys just text. He's looking for a tap and die set.
I could have used those tap sockets again last week working on that Mustang. I said, "Damn, I got to get those freaking things," because I wanted to chase the threaded inserts in the floor that are on the tranny tunnel.
Oh,
the
yeah.
bolts, because they were all gooled up, and
they get nasty.
Yeah, it's a 7/16 tap. If I wasn't so lazy, I would have raised the car and gone from underneath. But you know, you got the tunnel and all, and the carpet is picked up, so you get a tap on there, but you can only get. And I didn't have a T handle that fit that tap because it's a bigger tap, so I had to put the longer one on, which I couldn't really turn. So I actually put a pair of vice grips on the end.
Oh, yeah.
I said, boy, those tap sockets would be, this would they come in handy. You know? I don't know.
Damn tool guy.
You never have what you need when you need it, and you don't have. It's like I was working on a Fiat here a couple days ago doing some carburetor stuff, and I said, I got it's one of those rectangular chrome air filters they always use on the Weber carburetors. There's 4 Allen head screws, and I was smart enough on the tag I wrote 5 millimeter.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I remember what size it is. So I go in the garage here. I go in the toolbox. I go to get my Allen driver, and it's actually a snap-on driver, but there's no bit in it. I'm like, where's the 5 millimeter bit? I'm looking in the toolbox. I can't find it, and I hate that about them. Some of their bits would like press fit in. They would click in, and others actually had a set screw, and other ones actually have a roll pin. There's all different. Right. This is one that just clicked in, and it's missing. I'm like, well, where the hell is it? Now I don't have a 5 millimeter. I had to use an Allen key. So when I went to the shop, of course, I had 2 sets over there. So I said, take this set home. It's like constantly got tools going back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, what are you going to do?
So the wife liked the raspberry too.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I liked the raspberry.
Yeah, the raspberry. The original, I guess that was original.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It just took you had to lay a wet paper towel and zap it in the microwave a couple minutes.
Yeah. Now, we got that the day we were at the wake, so it was already afternoon. Maybe that was they made that in the morning. Because when I had a piece, I got, I'm like, this is kind of like almost like day old. It's like almost like stale already. Like,
yeah.
But the other one wasn't. So I said, maybe it was a morning Maybe they had. I mean, she went in the back to get it. It wasn't like it was sitting out front. So maybe she took it out of the garbage. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Well, it was funny because I had just, like I said, it was one of those days, and I had to do a scanner update for a shop, and I was waiting for the update password card.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, damn, I can't blow this guy off. I mean, this again, this is the stuff that drives me crazy. We're in it's 2022, and to do an update, I got to have this stupid card with this number on it. And of course I ordered it and they were on back order.
Oh.
And it's like, and then I called in, I said, can't we like get a number? Well, the thing that generates the number isn't working today, so I can't do it today.
Oh, the machine isn't working today. That's nice.
And I'm like, you got to be shitting me, dude. I mean, this guy wants to spend $1,000.
Right.
And I got to tell him I can't update his computer or scanner.
Yeah. That's.
So of course, I get the notification, it's on its way. And I said, great. And then of course, the day of me seeing him, I still haven't gotten it. I'm still waiting for UPS. And so make a long story short, I get the notification it was delivered. So, it wasn't too far from the house. So I run back home and I came in. And the wife goes, Ray sent you a box. I brought it in. And I'm like, Ray sent me a box? What's Ray sending me a box for? And so I opened it up and I was like I said, it made my whole day. Dude,
good.
it just, and he goes, oh, that was a guy thing. He sends food and doesn't write anything on there. It could have gone bad. Is it bad? I mean, is it perishable or what? He sends it in the box,
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, nah, it's okay. Of course, I tell her the story about it, and she's like, okay. I said, you want a slice? And she's like, no, that's a morning thing, And I'm like, okay, whatever.
It's an all-day thing.
So.
At least it wasn't a live chicken or a freaking pastrami or something. It was
so I was like, okay. So of course, I get the pizza cutter out and I'm slicing up and stuff. And I said, well, I'll be downstairs in my refrigerator if you want some, Yeah. And
it was funny because we're in I wrote down the name of that bakery when John told it to us, and I said, I told Linda too. I said, you know what? We're gonna make a trip to that bakery. We're gonna get this crumb cake. I pictured this big bakery, a real big place. It's in a strip mall. It's just one little store in a strip mall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But they do a really good business apparently, and they've been there since like '68 or whatever it is. And it's all girls working there are all family. You can tell, and so. I said, do you have the crumb cake thing? She said, yeah, we got. I said, okay. I said, yeah, I need one of those. I said, give me a raspberry too. And of course, I got a black and white cookie for when I was watching Adam 12 that night. But Linda said, what are you getting two of them for? She goes, that's gonna be a lot. I said, no, I got an idea. I said, we're only gonna have half. She goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm sending half. I'm gonna cut these in half and send Brian half, and we're keeping the other half. She's like, oh, that's a good idea. That's nice. I'm like, I said, yeah, he's got to have some too.
Yeah, that was, and so I get home. Of course, I get home, and Jenny goes, "It wasn't too bad. I really like the raspberry." And I'm like, "Oh, not a morning thing."
Yeah. Like I said, the crumb cake, you gotta have a lot of like nice hot coffee to wash it down with and kind of melt it up a little bit. But
I took a paper towel and got it wet, set it on there, and then I stuck it in the microwave, and it was it was a lot better. I mean, it's not bad the way it was, but I mean, it just gave it a little. It helped. It wasn't so brittle, I guess.
And the concept is interesting because you figure everybody loves the crumbs on the crumb cake. I don't really care about the cake. I want the crumb. So they just made a crumb pizza.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
so it was really good. So like that. So it was kind of funny. So when the emergency thing came, I walked in and it was sitting on the pool table, and I was like, "What's this?" And Jenny goes, "Well, I don't think it's any food."
Communion wafer.
So I got it. I mean, I opened it up, and like I said, she said a CD, and I said, "Yeah, it's the 50th anniversary of Emergency." And she goes, "Emergency?" I said, "Yeah, you know the fire thing." She goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well," I was like, "Well, it was on TV. I didn't see it. I mean, I don't think we have Cozy here. We have MeTV and."
Yeah, because it's on Cozy. Well, I found out it's going to be replayed again this Saturday. I just saw a commercial this morning. They're going to replay it on Saturday. But I asked my my nephew Rick. He's a big fire rescue guy, and he loves Emergency. So I sent him a text and said, "Hey Rick, did you see this?" He's like, "No, I'm working at the pier today." I'm like, "Don't worry, dude. I got you back." I said, "I know what I got to do." I recorded it, and I sat there recording it and pausing out all the commercials. So I did it like live, you know? And I took the disc. I have a copy machine here next to me where it just copies CDs or DVDs. I made 2 copies. One went to you, one went to him. Good. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, it was funny. And she goes, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Well, we talk about." I said,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a guy thing. No, you know.
How can she be so surprised?
Yeah. I'm like,
how could you be so surprised? I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because the picture was a little dark. But oh yeah, somebody made this flower arrangement for John.
Oh wow,
the Pontiac.
Crest.
Yeah, it was really cool. That was a nice flower arrangement.
Yeah, and I want to tell you, I'm ecstatic. I mean, I thought about it, and I said, well, at least I have a picture, but I'm. Thank you for sending.
Yeah.
I mean,
the obituary, I don't know if I never know about that. Like some people don't want to see that stuff, but I said, you know what? His sister ran it. She only ran it 2 days. So I got one and I cut the other one out. And I said, this has got to go with this stuff for Brian. He's got to.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's funny. You know, like I said, you know, that's the only part of my business that I really, really hate. You know, after all these years, 20 years, and I can't tell you how many customers I've lost or have passed, and just from the stupidest things, from having a needle stuck in their arm,
right,
to old age. I've had it all, and it's really terrible. And I hate that part of this.
Oh yeah.
Because so many people, and you deal with so many.
Think about now what doctors go through.
Yeah,
where they have patients, and they have patients for their whole career, and then they got to watch them die. I mean, man, I know it's like a cool profession. You make a lot of it, but there's a lot of weight that goes with that.
Yeah,
and I guess
like I said, it's of course, like I said, it all, I guess it affects people differently, or you have a different mindset or whatever, but it just really, I guess I look at it just the age of John, and to complain about your back one day and then to deteriorate.
It's bad because I was pulling clips from the Played in Traffic shows, and one actually I played a couple little clips from it on the show, but the bigger one was I guess it was after Easter, because I remember I looked past John and I saw a guitar and I said, "Hey, what's that guitar doing?" And he said it was his daughter's guitar. So I said, "How'd that get in the garage?" He goes, "My wife put it here." He goes, "Then she put a Stratocaster out here too." I'm like, "Oh, Stratocaster." And then he went into talking about how he hot rodded the guitar and changed the pickups and all of this and that. And, he did that for her. He goes, and she's got this little amp. He goes, "It's really loud." He goes, "The thing is really loud." He goes, "Well, my daughter doesn't like playing lead and being, she wasn't like John. She didn't want to be the front guy, So I said to him, "Well, you could detune it and she could play rhythm or something." And that's when I asked him, I said, "Did you ever play, did you ever get to play with your daughter? Like you play the drums?" He goes, Yeah, we jammed. We used to jam a lot. So, and then that was when he had brought the drums back out. He goes, "Yeah, well, I'm going to set the drums up. We're going to get back to doing that. She wants to jam with me again. So we're going to do that again." And he says, he goes, "But I got 2 cars to build and I got this." He goes, "I had so many freaking projects. I'm backed up." He says, I just don't have enough time to get it all done. And I got to get my ass in gear," he said.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, like who knew that none of it was ever going to get done? It's like, you just think, okay, I need more time. I got to get some shit together. I got to make time. And this is what I'm going to do. And like we said before, life has its own plans. It tells you what you're doing. You don't tell it what you're doing. Yeah. So unfortunately,
it's just crazy. And like I said, I try not to be insensitive or whatever. I just try not to dwell on stuff, try not to, like I said, there's a place in a moment and all that stuff. And like I said, I just, but it's just really, amazing, the shit that happens for whatever reason, it's just, sometimes it just doesn't make sense, And
I was talking to my friend Vinny tonight on the phone, guy I know forever. And I was saying, who's asking what happened. I said, this one hit me. It was like a sledgehammer in the chest. It was just, you're talking to the guy one day and then poof. And I said, it's just like, there was like no time to like, and not that, and I said, believe me, not that I would want him to have a long protracted, he suffered enough, and he got his wish. He went fast. I said, but it's like, you always want more, you always want more. It's like, wow, wasted time. But, then again, we did cram a lot in a short time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like I had a customer, he lived down the street from here, and he had one of those, we had couple, he had, those motorcycle, Hayabusa. Was that right?
Hayabusa.
And, he had a couple other, those bikes, and it was a Sunday morning. I was out working on the tool truck, cleaning it out, and Joe was his name, and he blew by the house, Mach 1, and everything. So the next week when I went into the shop, I was like, "Hey, Joe." I said, "Where's Joe?" He said, "He's in the office," and he was, my age, a little younger than me. And I walked into his office and he said, "Hey, I drove by your house." I said, "Joe, man, you can't be doing stuff like that, dude. You got 3 kids. You got a wife going through cancer. You're running a business." I said, "Come on, man. You can't be driving your bike around like that." "Oh, it's my only release, speed. I want, And I'm like, "Joe, you can't do that, man. Please." And it was literally like 2 weeks later.
Wow.
It's not even the part about wrecking the bike, but he crashed it in front of my house.
Oh, wow. Really?
And he hit what was happening was my neighbor, or actually one door down from me, she was turning into the driveway. He came up over the hill, past all the cars, and hit her, T-boned her,
Yeah.
and it hit her. It was a brand new Toyota Corolla. I mean Camry. It hit it so hard, it blew all the airbags.
Wow.
Bent the rear carrier. It bent because he hit him right between the door and the thing.
Yeah.
So I was doing paperwork. It was Sunday afternoon, and it hit. I heard the crash, so I get up. I go out, and her mom is an EMT. So she ran out, and she ran back in and got her bag and came out. And she says, "You got to help me. Can you deal with this?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And so he didn't get thrown from the bike. He was buried under the bike. I mean, he was stuck to the bike in the car.
Wow.
So we moved him out, and we couldn't get his helmet off. His head had already started to swell from the impact. So she's like, she went to cut his leathers off of him. And when she pulled the leather back, I saw his tattoo. And I said, "That's Joe." And she goes, "You know him?" And I said, "It's one of our neighbors. He's a customer of mine."
Yeah.
And so he died. I mean, he 30 seconds later, he's standing there and,
Right.
again, the stuff that I've seen and had to deal with,
Yeah.
and it just irritated me to no end that being that reckless and what all he had. And of course, I'm glad. And unfortunately, his wife just passed. The cancer came back and took her. So he's got 3 little ones
Oh, wow.
with grandparents, and that's a whole cluster. And I'm surprised the business is still there, but that's another whole thing. But
Right.
dude, when it's your time, I guess it's your time, and how it shakes up everything, dude. It's crazy.
That's yeah, you're right. Exactly right.
So
Yeah.
I'd love to know what will happen to John's, the aquarium place, or what.
I had asked him about that on this show probably about 6 months ago. I remember asking him. I know what it was. When he said they had redone his website, so I went looking for it. And I found some other guy. I thought it was him because it was a guy named John, but then I'm like, no, this isn't. And I remember coming the next week, asking him, he goes, no, that's this other guy. He was kind of like my competitor. I'm like, okay. He goes, yeah, a lot of people find his site before they find mine. That's why we redid it. So I remember asking him, he was complaining about the business. I said, what about like partnering with that guy and like maybe sharing the businesses, sharing the customers and like trying to spread it out a little, maybe like partner instead of being competitors. You're doing the same thing. And he said, no, he goes, there is no competition because he doesn't have anybody. He's like, I think he said that guy, now he was out of the business. He was done. He goes, I'm like the guy around.
Wow.
So, and I know that he was really doing it, trying to keep his elite customers like Shaq and all of that, those guys serviced. But yeah, now I don't know what they're going to do. They just close it up. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. It's crazy.
He had that other building, the building where he had the aquarium stuff, plus the other car.
Yeah.
He did tell me that the white car that he bought, he said somebody's name, but I was too out of it already to even remember who he said. But somebody is taking the white car and he's going to build it.
Yeah, I remember you. I can't remember what the guy's name was, but I don't know. You said that when you.
And then the black car, he said, I don't know what's going to happen to that. That's just in the garage. That's nowhere near. He goes, I don't know. He goes, I just don't even know. Don't know. So I don't know what his wife's going to do. It's going to be it's tough.
Yeah, some dickhead will come in, offer $100, and it'll be gone.
Well, the thing is now, he was doing the chassis, so it's like a ground up. It's not like buying a car that, is like a regular car that you can restore. Yeah. This thing was now a creation. I mean, fresh chassis, but like no floors, no tin work. He was just getting to that, Somebody's got to build that car.
I walked into a shop today, and they had 78 Z28, I guess, that time frame.
Yeah.
This guy bought it. I had to really, I wanted to take a picture, but the owner was there, so I had to really watch myself before I,
Yeah.
And Tom, the mechanic, I walked in, I was like, "Oh, look at that classic," and he's like, "Oh, that's a really nice car," this thing.
Yeah.
Well, they had welded the spider gears together,
Right.
in the car. And instead of just welding the spider gears, they welded everything
Nice.
in the housing. So it was and it wasn't just like a dip. It was we're going to cook it.
So now you just take the whole third member out and junk it.
Oh my God, it was awesome. I was like, wow.
Well, I found out that my suspension is set up pretty good in my car. I was hanging at this cruise night with my new buddy, Tom. Our cars couldn't be more different.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that thing is set up cool. And he told me, he says, "Hey, I found out this car's got a line lock in it." I'm like, "Really? You didn't know?" He goes, "Yeah, I just found it." He goes, "I was practicing in my driveway." I said, "Yeah, I got a line lock in my car too." I said, "I have the brake valve all plumbed in." I said, "But I didn't run the electric because I didn't have the right button." So it was funny. We both left at the same time, and we come out onto the street. We're waiting like 2 cars back from the light. He's in the right lane. I'm in the left. And he has fender well headers with, the electric cutouts.
Cutouts,
It's another thing I want to do. So my friend Kevin's with me, and he leans up to me and says, "Hey," he says, "Cutouts working? How's the line lock doing?" So he opens up the cutouts. Open headers, like right by my door. And I think he activated the line lock because I watched the light change. The cars went, we stayed still, and I just heard his motor rev up. And I'm like, okay, it's on. So I revved mine up and I dumped the clutch, and all I heard was like squealing under the roaring. I'm like, I guess that's me, and my car shot out. And at the second I did that, I'm like, oh my God, that is the stupidest thing. We're literally next to each other. I could have been buying 2 quarter panels.
Yeah.
Mine and his, but the car went straight and I hooked. And in the middle of the intersection, I had to pull second gear. It's like, fucking blast down the street. And then, he turned the other way. I was like, man, whoever was behind us had a good show.
Wow.
Because that was just like the stoplight drags from like 30 years ago.
Yep. That was old. That was the old days right there.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. But then I'm driving home. All of a sudden, when I slowed down, now the car didn't want to idle. I'm like, you know what? I hate these freaking carburetors. I'm calling Holly. I'm gonna get the sniper figured out. And like I said, I was on the phone with Joe last night for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I sent him an email with all the stuff I want. I said, just tell me what I owe you, and I'm just gonna I'll give you my credit card number and forget it. Said the money's doing me no good sitting in the safe. I gotta spend it.
Yeah, and like you said, having the stuff sit there.
Yeah.
And
I'm also buying a quick jack. I was on the phone. I kept missing this guy. I called him yesterday, left him a message. He calls me back this morning, but I'm on my way to New Jersey to pick up parts with a friend of mine. So I called him this afternoon, leave a message again. I left him a message again. So I just want to place an order. I want to spend money.
Yeah.
Spend money. Doesn't do any good sitting there,
No.
Got to use it. Got to enjoy it a little bit.
And I think the jacks will really. I mean, that jack I think would really benefit you. I mean, I think it's a.
Oh yeah.
It's a good. It's not a. Like I said, the only thing for me with it was you don't want to leave a car sitting on it. It's not like.
Well, there are manual locks. But like I was told my friend Vinny, he was like, well, you could probably still put jack stands on there. Like, no, it's got manual locks. I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the actual taller tabs for the trucks. I measured the FJ from ground to the bottom of the frame rail is 13 inches.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have to lose like half of my travel. Just
right. Yeah.
That's crazy. So I'll buy the tall truck adapters.
Yeah.
And they give you pinch weld adapters and all that stuff. So
yeah, that's good. I mean, like I said, I think that would, and then like I said, A, it gets you up off the floor. 2, it gives you a better level to work on.
So the funny thing is, this company, it's QuickJack.
Yeah.
And the company who I saw it on Instagram, it's called Wrenchers, is the company who's selling these.
Yeah.
But when the guy called me back, the caller ID showed as BendPack.
Oh.
So I guess they're owned by BendPack, which I really like. That's a quality lift.
Oh yeah. That's a great.
BendPack is phenomenal.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know either. And there's nothing on their website, nothing on the literature. But when he called, the caller ID said BendPack.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I got it. Good.
Yeah, unless, like I said, either they're what's the word I want to say?
I don't know.
Don't get punchy with me, Ray.
Hey, it's after midnight. I'm allowed.
Oh, is it? I know, but I mean, I missed an hour. I mean, come on.
You did. I know you did. You did,
man. So, yeah, but I think, like I said, I think that will be.
I look at it like this. It's just another tool. It's a big one, but it's a tool.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it would really. Well, now that the Mustang's sitting on mine, I only used it once. And it was great because I had taken a piece of 3/4 inch marine plywood, and I cut it out the size of the legs on the lift.
Right.
And I laid it across it sideways and raised it up, and I had a bench.
Oh yeah, right.
I put the riding lawnmower, I put the John Deere on there.
Right.
And then I was able to put it up. I could do the belts. I could do whatever I want. I wasn't crawling around in the yard. I wasn't crawling around on the ground. And it was,
I'll tell you, even when I would service my lawnmower or the small snow blowers, I would drag it up like the 3 steps onto the little platform by my side door, because that was about 30 inches off the ground, and then I'll sit or I could work at it. The same idea. I was like, instead of being on the ground trying to get under the thing, it's a lawnmower, it's on ground level. So these things are great for that. I mean, I was going to buy Harbor Freight sells one. My friend Paul has it. It's
motorcycle jack.
It's a table that just raises up.
Yeah.
It goes pretty high. I think it goes maybe 40 inches. I don't know, 30
I think
inches.
42 inches or something. Yeah, I've seen that. I've thought about that. Actually, I'm really super spoiled because of the tool truck and the lift gate now.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I use the lift gate. I use it sometimes for a welding table itself. When I'm welding stuff up, I set it at the height. I can get my stool, and I can sit out there. And the last time I had some, I had made a 1x1 square tubing. That's what I put my file cabinets on. I made little frames with wheels on them, and set all that stuff on there. Sat out there and used that as my table to weld on.
That makes it so much easier.
Yeah, instead of crawling around on the ground. My problem now, I hate sounding this way, but once you get down on the ground, you got to get back up to go pee, and that pisses me off.
That's what Linda says to me. She's now that I'm home, she's watching me do things, whether I'm like scraping ice off the bottom of the freezer drawer in the kitchen, or outside working on a car, or doing something with the pool. She goes, I'm watching you, getting down on the ground, getting up. Like, she goes, you actually do pretty good. You know, a lot better than you complain about.
Yeah.
I said, well, first of all, you don't feel what it feels like to get up.
Yeah.
And second of all, yeah, I said, especially when I'm like working at the shop, I'll do that all day. But like you see me when I come home, I look like a zombie. And once I hit that chair, now the first time I got to get up,
Yeah.
I really need like a hoist or a crane because now my everything just
locked together or frozen together. Yeah.
Yeah. I said, so believe me, I pay for that. I said, I don't want to stop doing it because I think if I stop doing it, it'll get even worse.
Yeah. No, it will. I mean,
So I want to keep doing it as long as I can. I'll just power through the pain. I don't give, you know, I've always done that. I don't really care. I said, but yeah, when you stop, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
I've seen guys I've gone to school with at my age, and I'm like, and man, they're like, you know, need a cane to walk around. You know, it's like, I was like, dude.
You know, I was saying before, I was working with this kid at the shop. He works in the other shop. He's one of Junior's friends. He hired a couple of his friends to work with him, and, you know, rightfully so. So the kid's, he's 24 years old. He's younger than my youngest daughter, you know. But so he was working at the shop doing brakes on a BMW. And, of course, you know, he brought some tools, but he didn't have the right driver bits. And he got the front calipers. He's like, how the hell do you get these things off? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, what the hell do you use? What kind of tool? I don't know. And let me look. So I look at the caliper bolts, and it was like the Audi A8 came back in my head because I'm looking at this bolt, and I can't see. I'm like, oh, don't tell me it's one of those deep. I said, it's a hex. I said, hold on. It was an M8. So I got the tool and I gave it to him, but I was, showing him, and I asked him, his dad is building a 68 Chevelle with a 468 in it, and it's orange, it's a nice hot rod. So I said to him at one point, I said, how old's your dad? He goes, 62. I said, okay. I said, I'm older than your father. He goes, you are? I'm like, yeah, I am. I said, so and it ends up we may even know a few of the same people. But then as we're working in the shop, I was working on a tow truck. He was doing it on the car. And he says, wow, it's kind of cool. I kind of like being here. He goes, I kind of like when, working here when you're here. I'm like, okay, why? I said, why? Because I'm so witty and insightful and like fun to be around. Like, I make you laugh. He goes, no. He goes, you actually teach me things without yelling at me. And I said, well, Richie, I said, that's the thing. I said, I love to teach people things. I really do. I said, and I'm not going to yell at you when I'm teaching it first. I said, if you keep screwing it up, then I'm going to yell at you.
Yeah.
I said, as long as you learn, I said, I'll show you whatever you need. He goes, yeah, I can't work on my dad. All he does is yell at me. I'm like, well, that's because he's your dad. I said, sometimes you got to get away from that situation,
Yeah.
I said, that's why a lot of kids join the army or something. You got to go to boot camp and have somebody else yell at you.
Oh.
So it was kind of funny.
Yeah. Man.
But
well.
Yeah. Oh well.
Got to get ready. I tell you, man, I can't wait for school to start up, man. I tell you, we got one more week, and everybody, every place is a ghost town, dude.
Oh, vacations, yeah.
It was funny, the packaging, the ice.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering if you'd catch that.
Yeah, I caught that. I was like, so my youngest.
I got a tear off tab here too for
the shirt. Yeah. So Emma, my youngest, I laughed. I saw that and I was laughing, and she goes, "What's so funny?" And I said, "Oh, these Italian ices." And she goes, "Italian ice things." And I said, "Yeah, Italian ice." She goes, "Oh, you mean like Rita's?"
Oh, Rita's, right? Rita's out.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, this is the original.
Right. right.
I said, this is real stuff. I mean, this is, this is the real stuff. See, it says right there, made in New York City. I mean, this is the real stuff,
And you remember every week, about a year ago, John would come on, he'd be eating Italian ice. Yep. He was having the Italian ices.
So she's like, oh, so she looks at it and she goes, "Well, it doesn't look like Rita's." And I said, "Yeah, it's not Rita's." I said, "This comes in a little cup. It has a wood spoon."
Tell her to talk to her uncle. He'll tell her all about it.
So I'm like, God, kids.
Yeah, right. Well, you got they got to sell them in the supermarket. You got to buy some and turn it
Yep.
off. Say, yeah, try
I
one.
know. And then she sees it and she goes, "Oh, you going to get a shirt?" And I said, "I don't know. What do you mean? Am I going to?" I said, "Unfortunately, they don't have my size." So
Do a write-in. See if they'll do it anyway.
yeah. And anyway, I always argue with these companies or shirts like this.
Yeah.
I do it with the Matco guy, the guy that does our shirts all the time, because they put everything on the front.
Yeah.
And I said, nobody wants to look at the front of me.
Yeah.
And do the back, use the back. It's a bigger billboard.
Yeah. But then again, I've had issue a couple times with even some of the Mako shirts where I wish the rear design was on the front
Oh yeah,
because it was such a cool design.
yeah.
Now I can't see it, But yeah, either way, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Yeah, that the Merinos, it's on the front. It's just it's not on the back. It's only on the front.
So, but that was funny. I saw that and I laughed. I thought that was.
Yeah, I was looking. I said, you know what? I got okay. It's in a mailer, but I really should put something in here, some cardboard or something. I'm like, what do I? So I went to the recycling bin and I just opened those ices and put them in the freezer. I'm like, oh, perfect. I can do 2 with this because I got a front and a back. I'll do Rick's and Brian's, so I repurposed it twice. So it was perfect.
Yeah, it's funny. So, but like I said, I hate this time of the year, and it's just. Ugh. And then as I was cleaning up, I found a OBD2 reader.
Oh wow!
With ABS.
Nice. Oh, nice.
And so far, it's working.
Nice.
I don't know why I had. It must have been one. I had the one that It must have been one left over because they discontinued this because it was taking sales away. This was known as a body man's.
Right.
Because it had your OBD2 and it had ABS.
Right.
Anything suspension wise.
Right.
So these were taking the sales away from the big scanner because guys would buy this and you could buy like a $500 or $600 scanner that did airbag. It had a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And so you didn't need your big one. So these were so like I said, man, I've gone through a lot of stuff, Ray,
That's
dude.
cool. That's
I
good.
tell you, man.
Yeah, good.
I just really like I said, I keep the momentum up and like I said, I'm cooking, moving along. So
excellent.
Hopefully I can just stay on track. So
yeah.
And like I said, I got the rear, and actually I grabbed the axles. They're sitting up front. I want to try to find. I missed it. I had a press. I had a shop that had an extra press, and it needed a new pump. They had bought a new one, and I kind of missed it. I should have grabbed it. And they ended up selling it to the scrap metal guy.
Yeah.
But at the time, now I still really don't have the room, but I have more room now to put the press, I should have.
You don't use it all too often,
No, but when you want it, I mean, again, it's like you said, we're kind of at that. It's not a really big need, but when you have it, it's super nice.
Yeah, the guys at the UD last year gave me it's a tabletop press. So it's a smaller one. And I figured, all right, it's good for small stuff. But I'll tell you something, I pressed the studs into my axles with that. I
Yeah.
was able to just finagle it around enough to get it in there.
Was it an arbor press?
No, it's a regular, it's a
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pump press. I have an arbor press down here, down in the basement, a small, a medium sized one, but
Yeah.
just a regular hydraulic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So now I'm back on the hunt, searching the deep dark corners of shops,
yeah,
and like I said, hopefully I come across one. I like the newer ones. I mean, they're just not the same steel.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I said, I'm hoping I can find one.
There's a guy who listens to the radio show. This guy Bill, he used to call. Bill from Freeport. He started the Motormouth Radio curse because whenever he talked to us about brakes, he would blow brakes.
Yeah,
off.
I know. I've heard you talk about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he emails me a lot, and he just emailed me last week after the show saying, "Hey, there's another school I found that's getting rid of all their shop equipment. If you want it, it's for grabs, but they want to get rid of everything at once." And I'm looking at the pictures, and the first thing I see is a big Anko brake lathe. Everybody gets rid of the brake lathe, But there was a big fan, and there was some other shop equipment in there. And I said, Bill, it's all big, heavy stuff. It's like I got no way to move this stuff. Or where I said I could maybe use the fan. There was something else I might have been interested in. I don't remember what it was. Something I saw in the background. I said, but the rest of that stuff is like, it's too big and bulky to even bother moving it. The brake lathe, Jesus, those things weigh a ton.
Yeah.
I said, so I got to let it pass. Then my friend Cliff sends me a thing. His buddies just moved from one shop to a new shop, and he sends me a picture like some plastic like rolling carts, 2 oil, drum.
Bucket thing. Yeah.
I think they're filled with oil still. Like, oh, great.
Yeah.
And again, like a stainless steel table. I'm like, yeah, it's all cool stuff, but like, I got nowhere to put it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to take his 30 gallons of waste oil. Like, what am I going to do with that? God knows what else is in there.
That's like I had a it was a Porsche. It was a 924. A friend of mine wrecked it, and after I'd put it all back together, he wrecked the car. And one thing led to another. It ended up here at the house. And I pulled the motor out and pulled the trans, and we took some stuff off of it, and we were trying to sell, and it was kind of lukewarm. It didn't really work out the way both of us thought, and I said, hey, I need this title so I can get rid of this car. And of course, one thing led to another, and time went on. I had this car now sitting in my garage, And so I talked to a couple people and say, can you come pick this car up? And they're like, yeah. So smart, dumbass me, I fill the gas tank up with my waste oil.
Oh,
because I'm thinking this car is
gone.
Right. So I'm doing oil changes here and, doing this. And, so I'm like filling this gas tank up with the waste oil. So the first guy comes out, loads the car up on the rollback, and he goes, where's the title? I said, I don't have one. Man, he cut that thing loose and it slides right back down in the garage,
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So I talked to this other guy. I said, look, I don't have a title, but I got to get rid of this car. It's not stolen. I told him the story. Yeah. I'll come by. And one day he shows up, takes a car. It's adios. It's driving down the road. It's gone. About 45 minutes later, I hear this beep, beep, beep noise. I look in the window. here's the tow truck with the car back.
Oh no.
And I said, no, dude, it's yours. He said, look, either you open that garage back up or I'm dropping it right here. And it had no wheels or tires. I mean, because it was just a shell, you know,
Yeah.
it was just, I had taken the suspension off of it and so forth,
Oh,
or most
wow.
of it. I was like, why? He goes, I need a title, dude. They wouldn't take it. I couldn't get it. I was like, God damn it. So he cuts it loose, slides back into the garage, you know. So it sat there. I said, dude, I gotta get rid of this car.
Uh-huh.
So I
Keep talking.
I go out and I buy some saw blades and I start cutting cinder block squares. That's how I dissected this car, you know?
Oh boy.
So, and then what I did was I cut these cinder block squares out. And this is when I first started with, selling tools. So I would put 2 or 3 blocks and they were like, they were just, I mean, I could have built an igloo or something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it was a perfect square. I was cutting 6x12 slots out, you know? And I started at the front and I'm cutting. And I'd go to these body shops on my route and I'd drop them off in their scrap metal pile, you know, or crap, you know, in their crap, you know, and this cube, you know, this cinder block, you know. I said, is this your scrap metal from, you know, they'd have fenders and bent chassis or whatever.
Like
Yeah.
So
I would just dump a couple cube. Yeah, it looked just like Christine. Well, I had forgotten about the 16 gallons of oil in the gas tank.
Uh-huh.
So I'm cutting, and all of a sudden it's like the butcher. It's like the butcher at the meat market. I mean, blood is coming out, but it's oil. And God, what a mess, Ray! That was I had oil all over. And of course, you know, once you cut the hole in it, you know, you're not, you know,
can't go back.
Yeah, and I'm like trying to put a bucket, and I'm like throwing down. Oh, it was a mess, dude.
Oh no!
But I got rid of that car, dude. I cut that thing up in the cinder block sizes.
That's cool. The best I did, I traded a Honda wagon for a Fiat Spider parts car, and when I was done with this car, stripping it,
oh yeah,
I put it on this dolly so I could spin it around in the driveway. Fully. It was like
wow.
Oh yeah. It's the back end of it. It was like
wow.
It was like nothing left. Yeah, it was like just I actually stripped it more than that. I took a look. Yeah. I just found these pictures the other day. I was like, oh yeah, the other Fiat I stripped. That was cool.
That was like the Audi that I got. It was the same year, but it wasn't a Quattro. It was just a regular 4-cylinder. But it was the same color, same year, 4,000, right?
Yeah.
And it was parked up front, and my service manager thought that was my car.
Oh yeah, right.
Because he would come to work and see it, and I'd be there, right?
Right.
So one day I was running late, and I drive by. He had a window looking out in the parking lot and into the shop. I drive by and I wave to him, and I go and park my car. And about 10 minutes later, he comes back and goes, "Hey, that's not your Audi out there?" And I was like, "No, that was customer so-and-so. Remember, he didn't want to repair it, and it's been sitting there." He goes, "Man, we got to get rid of that thing." He said, "Do you want it?" And I said, "If you're," he goes, "if you're towing it to my house, I'll take it." I said, "But, I need a title." He's like, "No problem." They do the mechanics lien thing on it.
Yeah.
Get a title. So they towed it home. They towed it to my house.
Right.
Well, the funny part about that is it's sitting in the driveway. Of course, the wife comes home. She's thinking that I'm home. She's like walking all over the house. Where are you?
Yeah.
So she calls me she calls work. This is before cell phones, and she goes, "Where are you? Are you at work?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm at work. Why wouldn't I be at work?" And she's like, "Well, your car's here." And I said, No, that's another car." She goes, "You got another one?" And I said, "Yeah, it was given." I said, "Don't worry, it won't be here long." I said, "I want to strip the parts off of it, and it's going to be gone." Yeah, of course, you get the yeah. So I came home, looked over what I could use list wise. I pulled out all the switches.
Yeah.
Got all that, and because it was the same color, I said, "Man, I want to save the front clip and the doors."
Right.
Because if I ever hit a deer or whatever, it's same color.
Yeah.
So I got it all set up where just one bolt was holding everything in.
Yeah.
So I found this guy, told him, had the title. He said, "Great." And so he comes out to pick the car up. And I said, "I just got to take a couple things off of it real quick." And he's like, "Okay, well, I can't sit here all day." I said, No. So, of course, it's like, 5 bolts. And I got this whole front clip and doors off. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? You took everything." And I'm like, "It's all yours, baby. There's a ticket."
Yeah.
So, of course, he leaves with the car. And, of course, I take all the parts and I put them out in the shed.
Yeah.
And, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years goes by. And every time I had to do something, I had to move a hood, a door, or whatever. So, funny enough, a guy I used to work with, Gus, he was a Greek. He was almost maybe just as good as Jack, the front end alignment guy. This guy, a car could roll by on the tile floor, and if it squeaked, he knew where the alignment was out or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, this guy was just really good. So he's like, "Hey, do you want to get rid of your 4,000? That's what he says. And I said, "No, not really. Why?" I said, "Man, my wife hit a deer and tore this car up, and I can't find any parts." And I said, "Gus, it's your lucky day."
Yeah.
I said, "You come by." I said, "I got a whole front clip you can have." "Oh, no, man, I got to pay you." I said, "No, just take it. Dude, I'm tired of tripping over it. Just come get it." So he comes out, gets everything, and he's like, "Can I take the doors too?" I said, "Just take it all. Just get rid of it."
Yep.
No shit, Ray.
Yep.
3 days later or so, Jenny backs into the car.
Uh-huh. Right.
So that's why now, we've had this conversation. That's why it's so hard to get rid of anything.
I know.
As soon as I get rid of it.
Yeah. Oh, that happens all the time. All the time.
So, yeah, it was.
Well, that's why, if I had to do something and I had that little piece I needed that I saved with a scrap, I'll usually come in the house, I'll parade it around first, and like Rocky with the trophy. Like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "You see this? I saved this for I don't know how many years, but it's been out in the garage or in the basement." I said, "And guess what? Now I need it. I win." I said that makes up for all the times I lost.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is.
But well.
Yeah.
All right, Ray. I got to get ready
Brian.
for credit cards and some jerk off out here shooting fireworks, I hope.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really surprised nobody's come down to get me yet, but
Wow.
I don't know what's going on, but I got to go out and double check.
All right. You out and double check. In the meantime, what are we saying to people who are waiting outside for us to leave?
Yeah, you better leave.
Right.
We're not in the mood to mess around now. You know what I'm saying?
Roll the candle up your ass.
Yeah. Don't follow us home.
Got that right.
Damn.
All right.
But